Hey, good morning. Happy Monday. Hope you're doing well. We got an action-packed morning for you. We got a whole bunch of sales to go out. It was actually a fairly slow weekend, one of the slower weekends we had of the summer, but that's, tis the seasons, going back to school season, a little bit slower, but still got, I think 20 sales going out the door. I'd like to see that number more like 30 to 35 would be even better, but we'll take every sale that comes in. We're grateful for all those. Welcome in. Hope you had a good weekend. I sure did. We sure did. Hope you did too. We are live Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, or sorry, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Welcome in. As always, I'd love to have you say hello down below. Let me know in the chat how your weekend was, how were sales. I'd love to hear about like awesome sales that you had over the weekend or things that you found, what you got into. Let me know down below in the chat. And of course, if you're watching this on replay, write ship, SHIP, down below in the chat so I know that you're watching our shipping live this morning. I'll get back to all the comments that are here in the live stream and questions and all that. And same with on the replay as well. Replays are available on YouTube and Facebook as soon as this live is over. You can rewatch it, fast forward through the boring stuff, rewind back to something you missed or whatever. But either way, hope you're having a good start to your week. Hope the weekend was great. I'm excited because this weekend we had our best weekend of hiking since I had a injury. I had in my like thigh quad area. I had a muscle strain back in like the late spring, early summer that really took us out of like a really good hiking routine. So this weekend was the best. I've been feeling great, by the way. Thank you for asking. But this weekend was the best weekend of hiking we've had. We went back-to-back days, did 2 hikes. Both of those hikes were over 4 miles. We were probably close to 9 miles, but we'll call it like 8.5 miles for the weekend, which is great. It's nowhere near the mileage that we were pounding out in the late spring, but it's good to be back and kind of, yeah. And after doing, back-to-back hikes like that, I feel great. We hadn't been doing back-to-back like Saturday, Sunday hikes just because even though I was feeling better, I didn't want to push it and re-injure myself, if you know what that means, if you know what that's all about. I'm getting old. You have to worry about that sort of stuff. Welcome in, Payush. Hello, Gail. Ship. You're watching the live, Gail. You're here live. It's the real thing. But I'm glad that you're here. Hope you had a good weekend. And yeah, we had some great sunshine over the weekend. It was dry. We had one shower that rolled through on Saturday while we were driving to our hike, and that was it. Pretty dry, warm, humid weekend. And we played in some of the highest peaks east of the Rockies. We were up at a mountain called Black Balsam. Is a pretty famous hike here in the area. Really like high elevation, over 6,000 feet summit, and a lot of hiking above tree line. Like 90% of that hike is above tree line. So a heck of a lot of sun that we got to because it was a nice sunny day. Watched your reel about Quicksilver. I'm not sure which reel you're referring to. I don't feel like I've done a recent reel about Quicksilver, but I hope you enjoyed it. You're from India. Nice. Welcome in. I'm good to have you. And say hello down below in the chat if you haven't said so. I'd love to hear from all of y'all. Chat is quiet on YouTube and Facebook this morning. I'm just saying. All right, so let me know. We're going to get started. We got a lot of work to do, so let's get rolling. It is Monday. It's a work day. What's up, Cohen? I see you in the chat. It is a work day, so let me know. Are we going to ship eBay, Poshmark, or chris@peak.com? We have all three. We have orders on all three. No Amazon orders this weekend, no Mercari. So eBay, Poshmark, chris@peak.com. Just let me know down below in the chat. That's what I'll ship first. Nothing, Cohen. Just getting the week started. Getting some shipping going, Cohen. Hope you're doing well. What are you up to? What are you up to these days? This would typically be back to school time for you, Cohen, but you don't got to go back to school. No more teachers, no more books, right, brother? So just let me know, what are we shipping first? eBay, Poshmark, or chris@peak.com, and we'll get rolling with that. What's up, Annette? How are you? It costs 50 cents and will sell around $18. Brand I found out, surf short. Nice pickup. I like that. That's great. All right, let me get my shipping labels organized. Yeah, we got work to do, but I love hearing your questions. I love hearing about your wins over the weekend. If you had some great sales or great finds, drop them down below in the chat. That makes this fun for sure. I'm going to show you all my sales. I'm going to tell you exactly how much I paid for all these items. I'm going to tell you how much they sold for, about what my profit is on each of these items. I'll tell you how long they took to sell. If you have any questions about them, let me know. We'll try to get into the nitty gritty about why things sold quickly or why things sold slow. We had some fast sales. We also had some slow ones too. What's up, Andrew? How are you? Welcome in. Annette is in the building. Andrew is in the building. you still haven't told me. You're the boss for like one moment here. I'm giving you the reins. What are we going to ship first? eBay, Poshmark, or chris@peep.com? And that's what we'll start with. Grand total, I think 20 orders going out the door. Might be 21. Some big sales in here too. You have quite an operation. Well, thank you, Beryl. I appreciate that. We spent 7 years building this up, and this is actually the third house, third home, third state that we've lived in and ran this business. What's up, Andy? All right, so nobody's taking the bait on being the boss. Okay, Annette says Poshmark. I was going to go Poshmark anyway. So Annette, you and I, same page. All right, let's get ripping and roaring. First up, we'll start with a doozy. That's the one that's on the top. So this might be the highest dollar, maybe second highest dollar sale. Yeah, second highest dollar sale, I believe, of the weekend. So there we go. What's up, Nancy? We're working on Poshmark. Andrew, we'll do eBay after this, but Annette was in the chat first with the Poshmark post. Jessica, I saw your order. Thank you. We'll get that all packed up. I'll do it right after these Patagonias. How about that? Want to do that? We'll ship your order right after this. So this is a good sale. So I paid. I think you'll be able to see. Yeah, I paid $25 for this pair of Patagonia wading boots right here. I'll read you off like what my item title was for this. So what do we got? Where is that? Welcome in. Welcome in. These sold for $89. So I paid $25. They sold for $89. Patagonia ultralight sticky wading boots. And then I also wrote like some keywords: fishing, gray, black, men's size 6. So this is a smaller size. If this is a bigger size, probably would have sold like instantly. So these sold for a best offer of $89, $89, men's size 6. So $25 and $89. We know that Poshmark takes a 20% cut. So Poshmark's basically got to take $18 from this. So that'll end up leaving me with $71. So minus my 25 that I spent for these, what's that? 45, 46 bucks. Is that right? 46 bucks profit. We'll take that. 46 bucks profit. I paid 25. Got to pay up for these things sometimes, but really excellent condition too. I didn't even have to clean these. I just kind of like took a damp towel and just wiped over it real quick. The bottoms were like perfectly clean. I mean, I'm not even sure if these, doesn't look like they've been worn fishing. Maybe they got worn around the house or something, just like super, super crispy clean. How do you get the $25 off the label? I didn't. It's staying on there. What's up, Scott? How are you? Good day, eBay. What's up? Flipology's in the house. Hey, Chris and everyone. What's up, Susan? I'm in Asheville, North Carolina. Andy, how many hours do you take photos a day? I don't take photos every single day, but I don't know if I have like a log for like how many hours I put in, but I typically list somewhere between 70 and 110 items a week. I've kind of been between like the 70 and 80 mark just because I've been spending more time on content lately, but I am as well. Nice. So I don't have a clean answer for you. Sorry, I don't like punch the clock on how many hours I'm putting in for photos or whatever. So let's get these shipped out. Let's do a little shipping trick. I have boxes for these that I pay for, but some of you might not want to buy boxes. So for Poshmark orders, you can use any of the USPS priority stuff because everything on Poshmark ships priority. These boots sold on Poshmark. So you can ship at USPS priority, which means you can use the free USPS packaging. This box is called the 1095. There is a shoe box, but these boots will not fit in that shoe box. So we're going to resize this box right here. There goes the boot. You're like, those boots are never going to fit in that box. Trust me, they're going to fit in this box. We're just going to resize this box a little bit. It'll take us probably a minute and a half to do. I'm going to use a shoe box as a guide for this. So roughly, I feel like these boots will be about the same size as the shoe box to fit in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up my box here. Let's see if you can see that right there. Line up the box to the edge of my table so that I can just fold this real quick. So I want this box to be the size of my shoe box right here. So I folded it there. I'm going to flip it over, spin it, and I'm going to fold it on the other side. And this right quick is going to end up with probably a perfect size box for me. I'm going to fold that size down too. So you'll see when I open this up now, see how we got that? Much different shape box right there. So that should be perfect for these boots, in theory. So now what I have to do is I have to cut these folds on the side. Since I created new corners, we just gotta cut new flaps. And we'll cut new flaps on the other side. And that's that. Catch up on chat here. Wow, what's up? Brandy is in the house. My man Chemo. What's up? Fresh, clean air breathing guy. What's up, my dude? How are you? What did I miss here? I have been selling a lot of cowboy boots and work boots. I like that. That's cool. Oh, what's up, Milky? How are you, brother? How are you, brother? My man Milky is in the chat. How cool was that? How cool was that? All right. So these boots should just slide right in here perfectly. In theory. One. Oops, put it in the wrong way. Style points for the flip. Those fit in there perfectly. We'll throw in the thank you card for these. These are going to Lisa. Thank you, Lisa. Appreciate your biz. Jessica, are you still in the chat? Let me know, Jessica, if you're still hanging in the chat. We'll get your order shipped out right now, right quick. So first order out the door, Patagonia boots. A nice $46 profit on these wading boots. I'll tell you how long they took to sell. I feel like they might have taken like 2 months, but let's take a look because it was a really small size 6 men's. They took 35 days, so that's still a pretty fast sale, right? As far as things are concerned. Jessica is still here. Great. We'll ship out your order right here next. How's that? Shipping boxes are free, new to USA and USPS. Pick up at local outlet, and that is only for USPS priority. Yep. So USPS, the Postal Service, provides free boxes for anything that's shipped USPS priority. And Poshmark, all orders go USPS priority. So you can order, you go to USPS.com and you can order free boxes. These come in bundles of, I think, 25, I think. Maybe, yeah, I think bundles of 25. So you can order this. This box is called the 1095 right here. It's a really useful box. I use it for suits and blazers, for big heavy coats. I'll use these for, and I'll use them for shoes too. There is a shoe box, but boots typically don't fit in that shoe box. So 1095 is a good box to stock. The shoe box is a good box to stock. There's a few others that I use. But anyway, we got to get to Jessica's order. She's waiting patiently. Or impatiently, I'm not even sure. Where is... Oh, here it is. Looking for my stickers. What program do you use for streaming? I use Restream is what I use. I've been using it for, gosh, a couple years now. I like it. I spend up for the basic one is a little bit cheaper, but I think it streams in 720. I pay for the more expensive one that allows me to bump up to the 1080p, so it's got a little bit of a better picture if you care about that sort of thing. You don't put the shoes in like a grocery bag or some kind of plastic bag. I don't, Andy, but some people do that. What's up? Vineyard is in the house. RK Montoya, what's up? Finally started using Nifty. Slight learning curve, but it's been great. Thanks again for the chat. Awesome. Glad that you're using Nifty and enjoying it. That's good stuff. Good stuff. And I appreciate your kind words, Milky. I should thank you for that. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you. Good to have you here. All right. So that was kind of like a long first order. Let's do Jessica's order here. So Jessica, you got 1 bag of the medium roast and 2. Gotcha. All right. So Jessica, who's in the chat, got her an order at chris@peak.com. So 2 of these thrifting is my cardio haul bags. Do I have one that's like open up over here? Yeah, I do. So she bought 2 of these. roughly you can fit about 30 clothing items in these. So if you go out to the thrift store, you're hauling out, or you're going to garage sales, or you're taking your packages to the post office or to FedEx or whatever, this is a 13-gallon, super lightweight cotton haul bag, and you'll get some smiles and some laughs off that. Thrifting is my cardio. So thank you, Jessica, for picking that bag up. I'm going to drop the link to my website if you want to check that out. I will drop it right now. And if you're on Instagram, I can't drop links in there that you can click, but you can go to chris@peak.com, and I'll just type that down. Just type chris@peak.com in and just click on the link that says coffee, and that's where you can find our merch at that coffee site too. Lisa, you got your bag. That's awesome. I love it. I appreciate your support. Hope you rock that. Hope it brings you some good luck and maybe some smiles and some laughter from some other fellow thrifters. New to this business and sales have increased daily over the past couple of weeks on eBay. Nice. Do you suggest setting up an LLC for the reselling business? Some people do. Some people don't. I don't know that I have like a recommendation that you should or that you shouldn't. I have an LLC. I actually file taxes as an S Corp. But as you get into all that sort of stuff, it's probably best to talk to an accountant and talk about the advantages and disadvantages of doing that sort of thing. I'm not an expert in recommending like whether people do LLCs or S Corps or all that stuff. I just know that what I did for my business, so I can answer that. Yes, I have an LLC. Yes, I have an S Corp. But there's no right or wrong way of doing it. There are some advantages and disadvantages of doing both. Beryl says, I started selling jewelry on Poshmark a month ago. No sales yet, except a friend who saw my post on Facebook and Instagram. Should I pay to promote as I do on eBay? Beryl, not sure what to tell you. I don't promote on Poshmark, so I can tell you that. And I never have promoted on Poshmark. And I've never really sold jewelry before. Have I sold a few jewelry pieces over the years? Probably, maybe 2 or 3 over the last 7 years. So I can't really speak too much to like being a jewelry seller on Poshmark. But what I would say is, maybe since you just got started, really focus on the fundamentals. So taking really good photos, putting great keywords in your item title, really describing your item well and the condition of the item in the item description. I think those things would all be really smart. As you ramp up, there are some other tools. Somebody mentioned Nifty in the chat. I use Nifty for cross-listing for automation. That's a great tool. That's, it's going to share your items constantly every day. But if you're just getting started and you only have a handful of listings, I don't suggest that. Nifty is a great tool if you get to a place where you're like, I've already sold 75 items on Poshmark. I have 150 total listings. I'm really looking to grow my business. Then I would suggest Nifty. I'll go ahead and drop down below in the chat. This is going to be a free trial link for Nifty. It's my cross lister. It's my automation tools. It's kind of like the Grand Central Station. It runs everything behind the scenes for me for my business. And it really helps me get a lot of extra sales. So I'll drop those links down below in case anyone's interested in checking out Nifty. If you're on Instagram, this link probably won't come. You won't be able to click on it, but you can go to my website and you can find the same link. And I'll drop my website there. It's actually in the chat already, but I'll just put it in there again in case you missed it. Go to my website, click on the link for Nifty, and you'll get a free trial and 15% off your first month if you sign up through that link. And again, it's a 7-day free trial. There's no strings attached, no commitment, and all that stuff. If you want to check out Nifty, it's a great part of my business, and it'd be silly not to talk about it. Let's get Jessica's order out. What's up, Francis? How are you? Jessica's got two Thrifting is my cardio bags and 1 bag of our Cooper's Creek. This is our medium roast. This is our best-selling coffee. It's fair trade, it's organic, and it's roasted fresh every single Thursday. So thank you, Jessica, for your order. We'll get you all packed up out the door, and then we'll move back onto some Poshmark. We got eBay. We'll have a fairly busy day of shipping. I'd say we probably still got about an hour in front of us. Great place to ask questions. We already got some great questions coming in, which I really appreciate. We'll get this bagged up nice and tight for you. Appreciate your support, Jessica. Not just because you bought something from the website. There's all sorts of different ways to support us. Liking the videos, dropping comments, hanging out in these live streams, being part of the conversation, all that stuff is a great way to support us, and certainly appreciate it for sure. But it's fun shipping out coffee to my people. It's fun shipping out these cardio bags. Put a smile on someone's face. Puts a smile on my face. how much the bags. Well, the bags are, gosh, I should know how much the bags are. They're my bags. Let's see. $17.99 is the price on the bags. $17.99. All right. So Jessica, thank you for your order. Handwritten thank you note for everybody. I'm going to throw in a sticker for you, Jessica. So we got a Chris at Peak sticker. I'm going to toss that in on the house. So thank you so much. Jessica, I already printed out your shipping label. So you have a shipping confirmation in your email with the tracking number and all that stuff. This is going out UPS Ground Advantage, and you're going to Pennsylvania. You should have this later on this week. My guess would be probably Thursday. You'll probably get your coffee and your bag. So thank you so much, Jessica. Really appreciate your biz. Means a lot to me. It's really fun. I ship a lot of stuff to strangers all over the country and all over the world on eBay and Poshmark. It's always fun to ship to people you know and to be able to talk to you and thank you. It makes this business feel a lot more like the businesses that I grew up in. I grew up working in restaurants and then managing restaurants. It was great to just have regular customers, people you recognize and can be grateful for. So thank you for being that person. Beryl, I just dropped here. If you have questions about pricing or like kind of where the coffee comes or any of that stuff, I just dropped it right there, chris@peak.com, if you want to check out the coffee, the pricing, and all that stuff. Also started the Nifty trial today. I'd recommend starting before you have 1,000 listings, so it's easier to confirm what you have listed everywhere. Yeah, it's a little bit of a bear when you have that many listings to get started. I'm surprised it took you this long. Jessica, circle back, give me some feedback on how things go for you. I'm really interested, especially with all those listings. I really think that you'll see some quick little results there. Thanks for looking for your Nifty video. And was that the video that you were looking for? I know you messaged me. I just I don't know which Nifty video she's talking about. I talk about it a lot because it's such a big part of my business. So I hope that was the one that you were looking for. How was the hiking this weekend? It's great. Surfs. What's up, Surfs? We hiked both days, which is really good. I had a muscle strain in my quad back in the late spring, early summer that kind of derailed us from a really great hiking routine. We were going out every weekend, basically. We were going out Saturday and Sunday and putting in miles. And we were building up to some really big hikes that we had in mind. We have this big hike that I still really want to do. It's a 13-miler, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 4 summits, 13 miles. It's pretty heavy, and we were training up for that. And then I got my injury, and it kind of derailed us. So this weekend was our first weekend where we hiked back-to-back days. I'd hike Saturday, and then we'd go on a walk on Sunday, just because I didn't want to re-injure myself. This is the first time we did 4.5 miles on Saturday and another 4.5 miles on Sunday. And I feel great. And it was great to just be out both days and spend a lot of time. It was hot. It was humid. It was really sunny. So yeah, anyway, that's more than what you asked for, but you asked, you got it. The coolest Chris in reselling. What's up, Crispy? The other Chris is in the house. Good to see you, brother. How's sales over there? I shouldn't even ask how sales. I know you're crushing it over there, Crispy. If you're in chat over on Instagram, Crispy's Flips is a great follow, especially if you want to get into toys and unique stuff like that. That dude knows toys. He knows more about toys and his pinky fingernail than I know in my entire body. Really smart dude, and just shares a lot of knowledge and stuff. He knows a lot about this business. He's been doing it a real long time. So Crispy, thanks for being in the chat, man. It's good to see you. I mean that. All right, let's get back into some Poshmark orders. Next up, let's see. Oh yeah, let's do Poshmark. That's what we were working on. Sorry, something shiny went by. You know how it goes with me, or maybe you do, maybe you don't. Next up is a pair of bird dogs. This sale actually just came in this morning. This was actually a nifty best offer. So I had these pants listed at $32. A pair of bird dogs. We can see the logo. It's up by my QR code sticker right there. See that little bird right there? So bird dogs, great brand to look out for. Pants, shorts especially. This model is called the Steven Jobs. These are on-lined pants. Some of them they make with a liner, like a little mesh inside liner, and some of them don't have it. You can order them from Bird Dogs either way. This one's had a small little spot on them. So I pointed that out in the item title and the description, and I had a close-up photo with a pen pointing right at that little stain. Priced them a little bit below the market value and sold these on a nifty best offer of $27. So somebody came in, and by somebody, I mean Christopher this morning saw this listing on Poshmark. Christopher hit the like button on Poshmark, and 10 minutes later, Nifty sent an auto offer of 10% off and closed this deal for me. This deal actually came in while I was out in the garage pulling the orders from the weekend. So it's nice to have like a little virtual assistant getting stuff done for me, closing deals while I'm doing other work, which is really cool. So thank you, Christopher, for your order. Thank you, Nifty, for the assist on this sale. Every single day I get sales from that Nifty best offer thing. It's super smart. It doesn't let buyers get off the hook. Just immediately closes deals. When you have somebody interested in your item, you just want to get that deal done. You can't have, you can, but you don't want to have tons and tons and tons of stuff just sitting out in inventory. You want to move stuff as quickly as you possibly can. So I paid $5 for these at a thrift store. They sold for $27. So Poshmark's going to take 20% fee. So $5.40 on these. So that's going to leave me with like $21.50. So I'm going to make about $16.50 is going to be my profit on this pair of Bird Dogs pants. So I'll tell you how long they took to sell too. I was actually surprised that they didn't sell quicker. That's a really hot brand right now. Bird Dogs, good one to write down if you haven't already. Let's see. Those took 61 days, 2 months. I'm kind of surprised that those took 2 months, but again, they had a small stain on them. So I bet you if they were like in better condition, they would have, or in perfect condition, they would have sold really quickly. Sales are flowing back in now that I'm getting settled in Arizona, man. Excited for you, Crispy. I know another big move in your life. I'm sure that you did a lot of work behind the scenes that you didn't share. So congrats on getting all that stuff done. That's pretty awesome. I love the coffee. Had mine this morning and going to try your cold brew combo. Oh, Brandy, you saw the story I did yesterday. Another good cold brew combo, if you're interested, Brandy, is the we oftentimes do this combo. So we'll do our medium roast, 75%, or like 3/4. Medium roast, 75%, and then 25% of our summer seasonal. So what this is going to give you is this like nice milk chocolate, and it's got to be like really, really smooth. And then this is going to add some brightness to it with a little bit of toffee note to it and a little bit of blackberry, which won't really come through in the iced coffee when you blend it, but it's super fun. It's just like really like smooth, rich milk chocolate that comes in the cold brew when you mix it that way. So another way to try it out. This morning though, we're drinking, it's 75% of the dark roast, 25% of the light roast. Not as chocolatey, but just like fun, peppy, really bright. The light roast gives it that kind of brightness. Next up, we got a Carhartt. Nothing fancy here. I don't buy these a lot, but sometimes I'll pick them up, especially if I can find like the pants and the shirts together. This is a scrub top from Carhartt. If you can get these for like $1, $2, $3, I think they're really great pickups. But this one is a women's size small Carhartt Force, like little scrub top. Sold for $17 on a best offer on Poshmark. Not a lot of profit here, but sometimes, like, especially if I feel like I find these on the fresh rack sometimes, and I'll go in and like somebody will donate like 4, 5, 6 of these, and I'm like, I'll grab them. They'll be easy to list and I'll move them. So I think that's what happened with these ones. So these are going out to Angelina. Thank you, Angelina, for your business. Angelia, I guess is the name. Angelia? I don't think I've heard that name before, but thank you. These are going to Bronson, Florida. My profit here is going to be pretty minimal. $17 order, $3.40 is going to be my fees from Poshmark. So that's going to knock us down to $13.60 minus my 5. I made $8.60 off these, but again, I bought a bunch of these all at once, and they always sell. Let's see how long they took to sell. Those took a little while, 158 days. I took 6 months on those. So probably not a good pickup to make a small profit on an item that took 6 months to sell. If that took 30 days or less, I think that's a better pickup. But for 6 months, only make like $8.50. Not my best work, but I probably bought a whole bunch of those at once. That's not something I typically pick up with a lot of regularity, unless I get them really cheap, like at a garage sale or something. How is crispy spelled out on Instagram? That's a really strange spelling of crispy. I'm just picking on you. Let's see. He's on there. I'm going to drop it in the chat. It's probably the easiest thing to do. Crispy's Flips. There you go. I think he's on the other platforms, by the way, too. I've known Chris from Crispy's Flips. I've known him since like my early days on social media back in like 2020, 2021, when there wasn't really many of us resellers that were creating short content to educate other people about the business. And that's how I first got to know him. I asked him a lot of like heavy questions early on about eBay, like international shipping and stuff like that. And he walked me through a lot of those things. So although he's like really smart with toys and all that, he also knows eBay really, really well. So he was somebody that I looked up to that taught me a lot about the game. And even though I don't sell a lot of toys, I've still learned a lot from him about like the business of eBay and how to be successful with it. So he's a great follow and a good guy too. Do you know any resellers on Facebook that sell a lot of winter apparel, ski jackets, gear, etc.? I mean, I think pretty much like all the folks that do all the folks that do clothing are probably picking that stuff up. You're just looking for people who probably live like more in the colder climate sort of stuff. I'm not trying to think of somebody off the top of my head. Maybe somebody else in the chat can think of somebody. I just can't think of somebody right now that sells a lot of that. Only because you're only going to move a lot of that stuff like in the winter time so much. But oh, thanks, Crispy. Appreciate you. Are you on Whatnot? I am on Whatnot. I haven't been selling on Whatnot for a good bit, but I do have an account on there. I've sold a few thousand items over the years, but I haven't been selling on there recently. I was in Tempe a few weeks ago and discovered Reclectic. I don't think I know what Reclectic is. You might have to teach me about that one. Ella, is it Ella Dale Vintage? Ella Dale? I live in Tucson half the year, Connecticut the other half. Welcome to AZ. There you go, Beryl. Making some friends. Let's see. Colorado bins people. Yeah, those would be good people to follow. I just can't think of anybody off the top of my head that's like out in Colorado that's selling a lot of that stuff. But maybe somebody else in the chat knows somebody that they follow for that sort of thing. I pick that stuff up when I find it, but we don't find a ton, even though we're in the mountains here of Asheville, North Carolina, and we do have some ski mountains. People that live here don't have like really good, serious ski gear like they do. Like I lived in the Northeast. I've lived in Colorado. That's where you'd find more of that kind of stuff. The people that ski here in Western North Carolina, it's more casual skiing. It's not awesome skiing, and people don't really have like the expensive gear. They buy like the basic stuff from Walmart and they get out and get after it kind of thing. So I don't find like the really, really good ski stuff, but I do find outdoor like hiking, climbing, backpacking, that sort of stuff out here. But I just don't find much ski stuff because the people, they just buy the cheap ski stuff because it's not really like a serious ski area, even though we have a few ski mountains. What's hot for me right now? I cleaned up my boys' closets last week, polos and pants that don't fit anymore. That stuff is flying off the shelves. Not my inventory associated at the moment, but I'll take it. Susan, I love that. It is your inventory. You got it out of the closet. That's great. Good work. I like it. I really like it. I just added him on Instagram. Nice, Andrew. Nice, Andrew. Yes, I live in a cold climate with heavy winter gear available, so wanted to learn more. Nice. Where are you? Whereabouts are you, Emily? My sadness having moved to Florida, almost no winter gear. Why'd you move to Florida if you're sad about it? I lived in Florida for 2 years. It's hot, and I'm not built for that sort of thing. All right, next up we got an order for something. A pair of Salmon boots. This is actually our biggest sale of the weekend. Got a whole bunch of these online arbitrage. Here's a brand new pair of Salmon. These are Gore-Tex women's hiking boots. There you go. The model here is called the X Ultra 4. I've sold these over the years a few times. So when I saw a bunch of these available on clearance, I did not hesitate. So these sold on Poshmark. I don't remember what I paid. I think 20 something. I bought a bunch of them. And these sold for $89. So great sale right here. We're going to resize another box. I have boxes for these, but I feel like this is like a good thing to teach folks who don't want to buy. I buy boxes from, like bundles of 25 boxes. So typically for boots and shoes, I use these boxes. They're 14 by 10 by 6. And I always have these on hand for both new in box shoes and for used shoes. They'll fit both of them. But those cost me about $1 a piece. Sometimes they're like $1.10 or $1.15 a piece. Sometimes they're on sale and they're 95 cents a piece. But I'm going to use this instead. I'm going to use this 1095 box. It's USPS Priority. You can get them free from USPSpriority.com. And since this is a Poshmark order, I can use any of the USPS Priority materials. And I'm going to resize this. I should show you this. I missed like the good part. You're like, those boots don't fit in that little slim box. Well, they will in a minute. You got to trust me. So what I do is I just line up this box on the end of at the edge of my table, the very edge of my table, and I line up this edge with the edge of the table so that I can just fold it over like that, and that gives me a new crease. And then I flip it and I spin it, and I do the same thing on the other side. Oops, that did not work well. There it is. Did I do that right? Did it not fold? Oh, it didn't really fold good. There it goes. I was like, what the heck? Now I got like all these extra folds on here that I did not need. There it is. Let's see if these fit. Yep. I just folded it once. I did a false fold. So now I just got to cut new flaps. So you can see that box fits right in that box. I'm going to put my thank you card in for, who bought these? Carol. I'm going to actually put it like right in the shoebox here itself. Now USPS Priority they do have a shoebox, but it's not going to fit like a brand new pair of boots like this in that box. What I'm going to do is cut my new flaps now. Now I have a box that's perfectly sized for this pair of boots. So just like that. I've been in eastern Iowa on my travels, and the bins in Cedar Rapids are pretty good. That makes sense to me. I've actually never been in that area. I've actually never set foot in Iowa. That's one of the states that I haven't set foot in. But it gets cold enough up there that I think people will probably have some legit stuff. It only gets cold here, like really cold, for, you know, it's really like a few weeks a year kind of scattered out through the winter. It gets cold, but not like, we don't get like a consistent winter cold like you do up in the Northeast. We're just so far south here, even though we're in the mountains. So another pair of boots out the door, another USPS box resize. Haven't worn pants in almost 5 years. There you go. There you go. I've been lucky to keep mom out of nursing home, and she had a good pension from teaching in New York, so reselling didn't have to be full-time. There you go. I like it. Sounds like you made some smart family moves to get down there. Had to take care of elderly parents. They have both since passed. Sorry to hear that they've moved on. I wouldn't have done it any other way. It's really awesome that you got a chance to spend this time with your family that way, and in such like a meaningful, important time to be there to support them. I think that's really cool. MacGyver would be proud. I think so. I grew up watching MacGyver. Josh's mind is blown. I've been in Eastern Iowa. Got that one already. If I missed a comment or a question, I didn't do it on purpose. Just let me know. Redrop it, and I'll get to you. People are respectful at the bins, and not crazy. Nice to hear. My bins are like filled with a bunch of young kids. You have mentioned in other videos you cross post on Mercari. Do you sell much on there? I started my closet sell off on there, and it's not been super busy. Lots of Lou, Roxy, and Aritzia. eBay and Posh cross posting is best. So yeah, I don't sell a lot on Mercari. I never have. I've been selling. I think I first started cross listing. I don't think. I know I first started cross listing in 2021, including selling on Mercari. And Mercari has never been a big platform for me. It's always been a fringe platform, but I've seen it go down for me. So I actually dropped Mercari a couple of years ago, and then they started doing the zero fees thing. So I was like, well, I'll pick back up Mercari. But it's been slow. It's been slower than even it's always been slow. But it's for me since I picked it back up about a year and a half ago. It's been slower than it ever was for me. So they've made some pretty big significant changes on Mercari. They're trying to stay competitive. I think they've sort of like scared some people away in some of their fee changes and stuff. Their traffic has gone down. If you kind of Google like their web traffic, their actual like user traffic, web traffic has gone down. Their sales have gone down overall as a company. So we'll see. They're trying to find a way to be competitive in the market, and they just really haven't been. They're losing market share and all that stuff. So we'll see what happens moving forward. I'm not sure how much longer I'll sell on Mercari, but it's easy to cross list Mercari on Nifty, so I continue to do so. But I feel like any given week I might just stop doing it. Is anyone here in Denver then looking for best places for? So I started this business and ran this business for 2 years while I was in Denver, Ella, and obviously like thrift stores go up and down, and they have different management and different supply chains and stuff that changes, right? But I used to go to a place called Mile High Thrift, which is on Sheridan, South Sheridan. So you might want to check out Mile High Thrift. Their prices tend to be really high, but just you want to get in when you go there. Ask them about their sale tag schedule, like their color tag schedule, and like when they change it, because you can get some really good deals. There's always like a tag that's 50% off. There's always a tag that's 75% off. So they start their prices high and then they end up like discounting them. So check out Mile High Thrift. The Goodwill on on South Broadway. The Goodwill on South Broadway tends to be really good too. It's kind of in a hip little neighborhood there, and it's busy. So thrift stores that are busy tend to be better. Oh, you already know that place. So there you go. And the bins can be really good, although I've never really spent a lot of time at the bins, but hopefully that stuff helps. Mercari has declined a lot, says Nancy. I would agree with that statement, at least as it relates to my business. There might be some people who have some categories that really crush on Mercari. Mine is not one of them. Curious about the priority box. I ship items all sizes and shapes, and priority never seems to be viable over advantage. Do you compare rates before shipping or ship state? Oh, cool. Douglas, I don't use priority. I might use priority like a couple times a month for eBay. But I also sell on Poshmark, and all Poshmark orders go through priority. So I'm not comparing priority shipping on my typical eBay orders, but Poshmark, everything goes priority whether I like it or not, and I like it. So I use those boxes for Poshmark orders specifically. I'm not using them at this point for eBay. Years ago, I actually shipped a lot more on priority before they came out with Ground Advantage, back when it was Parcel Select or USPS First Class, or Priority. Priority won out oftentimes, especially on items that were over a pound. That's not the case anymore since they came out with Ground Advantage about almost exactly 2 years ago, right? This summer of 2023. So yeah, don't confuse my priority shipping for Poshmark with it. Has nothing to do with eBay. You're welcome, Douglas. You're welcome. Do you use flat rate or calculated shipping on eBay? I use flat rate, but when people are getting started, I encourage them to use calculated shipping, which means all you have to do is enter the weight and dimensions of your item when you list it, and eBay automatically calculates the price of shipping based on where your buyer is. Because if I ship something to South Carolina, I'm here in North Carolina, that's going to be a lot less money than if I ship it to a customer in California. If you use eBay's calculated shipping, if you check that box and you put in the proper measurements of the package and the proper weight of the package, you'll never make a mistake that way. It'll always charge the customer the right way, but as long as you're accurate with what you're entering. Okay, that's good info. Thanks. You're welcome, Annette. Posh Hollywood. Yep. I haven't been in that one in a hot minute. I'll check Broadway out again. It's a good one. And it changes when I visit Denver. I'll stop in that Broadway, the South Broadway one, and do pretty well too. It's one of my favorites. But again, these thrift stores, they go up and down. The last time I was probably at that one was a year and a half ago. The last time I was at Mile High Thrift was probably about a year and a half ago too. So, these things change, but my gut tells me that those are both good places to shop still out there in Denver. I use flat. Also, do you ship to U.S. territories? I do. All right, next up, Poshmark, a pair of Ariat jeans. This was a fairly quick sale. I just ran across a bunch of Ariat jeans I don't find them very often, but I've been finding them lately. It's just one of those things, like dumb luck, it's happening. These took 43 days to sell on Poshmark, and they sold for $26. This is a women's pair of Ariat jeans. These are boot cut too, so if you're looking for especially women's jeans, the boot cut are what people are looking for. Ariat's a great seller in jeans. These I paid $5. They sold for $26. So roughly my fees on this are going to be about $5 for the 20% for Poshmark. So that leaves me with $21. I paid $5, so I made a $16 profit on this pair of jeans. They took, what did I say, 41 days to sell? I already forgot what I said. 43 days to sell. My bad. So $16 profit. This is great. I like a $16 profit. That might not be perfect for a lot of sellers, but when I'm moving volume, I can find this stuff pretty consistently. I am very happy with that. This is going to Julie. Of course, I like the bigger profit items too, but if I'm going to pick up some items that are going to make me 25 or 30 or 40 or $50 in profit, if I'm already at the thrift store, I already spent the time driving there. I already spent the gas to get there. I already spent all this time going through all the racks. I might as well pick up some $16 profit items while I'm there and take them home and list them and get those too. In order to be full-time with this, there's just no way in my area that I could just stick to, say, like $20 plus profit items. I just don't find enough of them. About 35% of my sales are items that I make $20 or profit or more after fees and cost of goods and shipping. About 35%. The other 65% are items that make me between $10 and $20. And you know what? At the end of each month, those two categories, the $10 to $20 profit items and the $20 plus profit items, end up being about the same. It's about 50% of my profit is 10 to 20, and about 50% of my profit is $20 plus. So there's different ways to build your businesses. And, if I lived in a different metro area, I would source differently than I do now. And I have. I ran this business in Denver. I ran this business in Tampa. The business looked different in both of those places because it has to. But this is what works in my area. I've settled here in Asheville now for, it's going on 3 years. October 1st is 3 years. So we're about a month and a half short of that. And I've figured out that this is the model that works for me here. And you always got to be tweaking, but this is what works. Here's another thing that I've added to my repertoire. I didn't really add it, but I increased retail arbitrage since I've lived in Asheville. And so I look for items that are on clearance at retail stores. I've done it since almost the beginning of reselling, but I've definitely done a lot more of it since I moved up here. I did a good bit in Florida too, not so much in Colorado. So this shirt is a 7 diamonds. When I pick these up, I only pick up the 4-way stretch. It's a newer brand for me. I've only recently started picking them up. I don't find them at the thrift store very often, but I do find them retail from time to time. So let's see what this sold for. I sold 3 of these this weekend. This one sold for full asking price, $39. I paid $13 for this at a retail clearance store. So my fees on this will be about $8 from Poshmark from the $39 sale. So that leaves me with $31. That means I made $18 on this sale. I just picked these up. I'll tell you how long they took to sell. 13 days to sell on this. So 2 weeks out the door, I paid $13. I'm going to make $18 in profit. I'm here for that. Jeffrey. So thank you, Jeffrey, for your order. And when I'm buying retail clearance, I'm always hoping to get multi-quantity items too. I only found one of this particular shirt in this size, really nice flower print on it, but I'm always gunning to get, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 of those. And that makes listing easier because I can just set the quantity to, to 6 or whatever, and just one round of photos and measurements. But this one I only found one of, unfortunately, but that would have been great to find multiples. It's a great way to grow your business, is just getting you can just list multi-quantity listings so much faster, and just really build from there. What's up, Brandon? How are you? I'm on the fence with signing up for an eBay store at the moment. I am keeping around 230 to 250 items listed. I've been running out of free listings for the past 2 months. Is it worth the extra cost to have the other benefits of having a store? So yeah, you're right on the fence, Brandon, and there's probably not a right decision or a wrong decision, because you're right there at that free listing thing. Now, I would say, and you didn't say this, but if you're stopping listing because you don't want to run out, you're trying not to run out, use the paid listings, right? You're out of the free ones. You don't want to list anymore. If you're stopping doing that, I'd say don't do that. Just keep on listing. Even if it costs you 35 cents a listing, who cares? It's small change. I'd rather have you do that and grow your business than hold back. But you're going to do the math. It's probably not until you get to about 300 items listed until that's when you're those extra 50 listings at 35 cents a piece. It actually becomes cheaper to get the store. But if you find in any way that it's holding back your business, that you're not listing things because you're bumping up against that 250 limit, I would say go ahead and get the store and just remove the barrier to your growth. I would hate to have there be a ceiling over your head that's kind of arbitrary and very low cost to remove. So that's my thought process on that. I hope it helps. If you have follow-up questions, let me know. There's not a bad decision there. I'd say the best decision is removing the ceiling if it's slowing down, your process, or putting limits on how much you're listing. Good day to the bargain effect. Welcome in. It's good to have you. When did you live in Tampa? I moved there in 2020 and moved out of there in 2022. It was hot that whole time, I promise you. What's up, piece of scrap? I love that name. Well, welcome in. Good to have you. Except for the men's anime PJ pants, bought 3 and haven't sold 1 yet. Okay, I don't think I've ever bought men's anime PJ pants, but maybe a bad buy. Price them down, get them gone. Do you do list after 20 days and sell similar, or should I let eBay relist it? Paula, I use Nifty for that. So Nifty on the 29th day takes all my listings that are at that 29-day point and automatically relist them for me, so I don't have to worry about that. I used to do it manually every month. And so every day, right, I would go in and I would relist, however many. I would usually do like 20 a day. It just depends on how much inventory I had. Right now, I'd probably have to do like 30 or 40 a day. And I would do it from like the bulk screen. I'll show you the screen that I would do it from. If this is helpful, let me know. I'm going to do a shared screen real quick here and show you exactly what I would do when I did it myself. But I use Nifty to do it now, which means I don't do anything. See if I remember how to do this. It's been so long. I've been using Nifty now for 16 months, so I don't do any manual delist and relist. Okay, I think I could show you this. I think I remember how to do it. I used to do it every single day. You would think that I would remember, right? But it's just been a while. Your new normal is your new normal. Not opposed to it, but had little luck with retail arbitrage. Well, it's just like anything else, happy picker, right? You can thrift pick and not be good at, not have a lot of success, and you can retail arbitrage and not have a lot of success. Like anything, you just have to be good at it, get a trained eye for it, learn your numbers and your metrics, and learn what's going to sell. It just takes time, like anything else, repetition, practice, and all that stuff. So this is my seller hub, right, on eBay. And if I were going to do like a delist like items that are been 29 days, let's see, start date August. So I'm going to change the start date over here. I'm going to refilter it to my oldest listings. And those are just some like sports cards that I don't really care to sell or not. Let's go here. So July 19th, this would be the listings that I would want to delist and relist today. Nifty's going to do this for me today, but I'm going to go through and I'm just going to say like select these 4. Boom. So then I'm going to go up to the top and I'm going to go to edit. And I'm going to go edit selected. I think this is how I do it, right? And then hit remove listings. See right there. So I selected all 4 and I just hit remove listings. And then I would go find them in my ended with, I'm not going to do it because Nifty's going to do it for me. I don't want to screw things up. But then what I would do is I would go into my listings and I'd go to ended. Whoops. Listings unsold right there. And then I'm going to go down and they'll be right at the top of the list here. So these are the ones that Nifty just did for me this morning. So I would just go down and find these, and then I would just do sell similar on each of these. So I would go here and I'd hit sell similar, put it up. And I think I can just do sell similar. Can I do it on all? Can I do it like on 4? Yeah, I can do it. I think I can do it on all 4. I can do it in like a batch. I think this is how I did it. Yeah. And then just hit sell similar, and I could relist all those items. It would give it a new item number. And so it'd show up as a new listing, and apparently in theory show up higher in search results. So that's how you would do that there. Hopefully that's helpful. I know that was like quick and dirty, and maybe that was helpful, maybe not. Been following you on Instagram, just realized you had YouTube. So no subscriber. Welcome aboard, Happy Picker. Good to have you on YouTube as well. What did I miss here? Received a bundle offer on Posh for 5 shirts. How would bundle work with shipping? Great question. It's super easy. It's automatically got to combine them all into one shipping label, and you put one shipping label on one package. If it's 5 shirts, the max is 5 pounds on Poshmark. So 5 shirts is probably going to fit nicely under 5 pounds. So the buyer just pays $8.30 total shipping for all 5 shirts. You get one shipping label, you ship it to that person. Nice and easy. What are the negatives to letting eBay delist an auto instead of doing it manually or with Nifty? What are the negatives to letting eBay So when eBay delists it, like when eBay relists it automatically every month, it doesn't create a new item, an item number, right? It's actually the same item. So it's not going to show up high on search results as being a fresh listing, right? It's not going to give you activity in your algorithm. eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, they all like activity. It's an algorithm that likes action. It likes offers. It likes items being listed fresh every single day. So by just letting eBay relist the item, it's going to keep that same item number. It's not going to give you any activity, and that item isn't going to show up higher in search results. So, and there's some people who believe more in this than others. There's kind of like two schools of thought here. Some people just don't mess with it and they let eBay do it. There's other people who are religiously delisting and relisting all their items every month. I am in that latter category. I've done it for years. I used to do it manually, and now I have Nifty do it all for me. So the advantage of Nifty having it do it all for you is you just don't have to do anything. It just automatically happens, and you get the benefit, but you don't have to do any work. Old Chef, I missed your walk in. I do well with Ariat hats as well. That's good to know, my man. I've sold maybe one Ariat hat just because I don't really find them. I just don't really find them. My business in Arizona is different from Syracuse. Yes, you have to adapt. And it wasn't easy. Moving the business from Tampa, which is a big metro area. It's top 20 metro area in the country. There's a lot of people and there's a lot of wealth in the area. So that makes for good picking because, yeah, a lot of people, a lot of wealth. When I moved to Asheville, it's a much smaller metro area. I mean, a fraction. Once you get outside of the city of Asheville, which is I think we're like in the 90,000 people range, the city of Asheville. All the towns outside of Asheville get really small really quick. It's not a big metro area. So I live in Fletcher, which is like 2 towns away from Asheville. We have 8,000 people, right? So like once you and then like the next town over is like Blue Ridge or trying to think of some of these like really small towns. There might be 500 or 1,000 people. So it's a small metro area. So I can't pick the way I picked in Tampa, and everything's more spread out. I have to drive further. So if I want to hit, 20 thrift stores in a week, I don't even know if I could do it. I just have to do so much driving. There's just not enough, like I'd have to expand my region of thrifting to basically like a 2-hour radius to make that happen. And that's a lot of driving and a lot of gas to make something like that happen. Instead, I keep a tight, like 30, 35-minute radius, and I hit what I can hit, and I pick some lower profit items within that radius so that I don't have to extend the radius, right, and spend more time, more gas. Instead, I just, I pick more $10, $12 profit items than I would have picked when I was in Denver, or what I picked, when I was in Tampa. That's just what I have to do. I also pick lower sell-through rate items because what I do is I use what I have to my advantage. So what I do have is a 1-car garage that is 100% devoted to storage for this business. And we do mostly clothing. So clothing doesn't take up a lot of space. So a 1-car garage, easily swallows up 2,000 pieces of inventory for me. So I use that to my advantage. I can pick up some things that are lower sell-through rate and have them sit around a little bit. I also have a business bank account. I've been doing this for 7 years. So I have a business bank account that has accumulated a lot of capital, which allows me to not really worry about having capital sitting on shelves. Is that going to be the right business model for you? I don't know. Is it going to be, was it the right business model for me in Tampa? No, I actually didn't want to have more than 1,000 units of inventory. I wanted to stay under 1,000 and find high sell-through rate items, but it was different. I could hit 20 thrift stores in a week and not go outside of like a 45-minute radius. I can't do that here. I can't be as selective. I have to get what I can get and make the best of it and use things like Nifty and great photos, automation tools, all that stuff to help me sell low sell-through rate items. So I get comments all the time on my videos and my photo posts about how I pick up low sell-through rate items. And they're like, I don't pick that up because it's a 25% sell-through rate or a 40% sell-through rate. I'm like, yeah, well, 40% sell-through rate is like, or below, that's probably like 50% of my business. So if I don't pick that up, I don't have a business. So people just have to make do with what they want to do. Now, if you're a part-time, that makes sense. I think a lot of people like comment like they're part-time and they're like, I only pick like $20 plus profit items. I'm like, that's great. But if I only did that, again, 35% of my business is $20 in profit per item or more. 35%. So I'd be chopping off the other 65% of my business, which is about half of my profit, that other 65%. I can't afford to do that. I just can't. So that explains why I've gotten good at selling low sell-through items and also finding stuff from mediocre brands that actually sells pretty well. Because I have to, I have no choice. I've learned Joseph A. Banks and what really sells from Joseph A. Banks. I've learned LL Bean and what really sells from LL Bean. I've learned Columbia and what really sells from Columbia. Just trying to look at, I've learned retail arbitrage, which has helped my business a lot too. Just like looking around at somebody. I've learned Levi's and what sells from Levi's. These very, very common brands that have low sell-through rates overall, but I've learned how to identify the items that sell pretty good from each of those low brands. That's just what I have to do. If I was in Tampa, it would be different. If I was in Denver, it would be different. If I was in Boston or New York City, it would be different. I would run my business differently. I absolutely would. But this is what I do here. I just have to get really good at identifying those items, and then I have to get really good at selling them. And Nifty helps me a lot with that. That's why I talk about Nifty a lot, because it allows me to sell low sell-through rate items at like a medium sell-through rate. And that's because it's relisting all my items. It's sending those auto offers. That's what I got to do here. So don't listen to what anyone else tells you what you should do with your business. You'll just figure it out over time. If you live in a place where the sourcing ain't as great, then you have to probably pick up lower sell-through rate items and lower profit items to make it work. And then you just have to get really good at flipping them, cross-listing and all that stuff, right? I live in a similar region, and finding Levi's is a good day. Yeah. In Levi's, I pick up Levi's for that's the other advantage of my area is I don't have everyone like complains like, oh, you find everything for $5. Well, yeah, but I don't find a lot of high-end stuff. I find a lot of mediocre stuff for $5, and I've built that into my business. I pick up Levi's all day at $5. Any of the 5 Series jeans, I'm picking them up. I don't care what size. I don't care what color. If they're in good condition, they're Levi's. They're one of the 5 Series men's. I'm picking them up for $5 because I can find that. And so you guys got to figure out like what's going to work in your region and just double down on it. Pour gas on what's working. Your experience in multiple regions adds a lot of value to your content. Great explanation. Thank you, Carol. Just the way it is. And believe me, so basically what you just said, and I appreciate you pointing that out. Basically what you just said is your pain helps us grow. And that, because that's what it is. Learning how to change my business. I didn't know how to change my business when I went from Denver to Tampa. I just made the move and I was like, I don't know what the heck to expect when I get there. I have no clue. I just have no clue. And so I went there, experienced pain, figured out what I had to do to be successful in Tampa, and then did it. And same thing, I went from Tampa to Asheville, experienced a lot of pain. That was a tougher transition for the business just because we went from big metro to really small metro and experienced a lot of pain. And what I'm sharing with you is hopefully opportunity for you to grow through my pain. But guess what? Your growth comes from your pain too, being uncomfortable, trying new things not working really well. That's what growth is. Like there was no skipping steps for me. I just didn't show up in Asheville, unpack my inventory, turn on the stores again and start running out to thrift stores and just crushing. That is not the story. The story was pain and figuring it out and bumping my head and making bad buys. And I didn't like learn Joseph A. Banks as a brand and like what's good and what's bad just by magic. I bought stuff that sucked and I felt pain and then I learned from it and I got good at selling the stuff. We're going to ship a Joseph A. Banks here in a minute. I'm on week 4 of Nifty after using your code. Billy, what's happening? What's happening with that? Should have started last year. Already 15 sales between Mercari and Poshmark with cross listing. Boom. Let's go. Yes. I got to take a screenshot of that. Let's go. As someone else who sells mostly clothes, do you suggest using padded envelopes to ship or poly? Whatever's cheaper is what I would recommend, and whatever's cheaper is going to be those poly ones. I have all the stuff that I use. I should have linked these sooner in the live stream. I'm sorry, but all the tools that I use for my business are linked in that document right there. I'm going to drop it in Instagram too, but you won't be able to click on the link. Just on Instagram, just go to chris@peak.com and just click on the link that says, and I'll put chris@peak.com in here. Click on the link that says recommended reseller supplies. But there, it's just at chris@peak.com. There will be 10 to 15 at my Goodwill, unfortunately. So yes, so Big Bird, so you have a different model. So Big Bird says, look, Levi's would be 10 to 15 at my Goodwill. Yes, and that's how they were when I was in Denver, and that's how they were when I was in Tampa for the most part too, is they were priced up. So Levi's was not part of my business unless I found them cheap or found them at a garage sale or they're at a 50% off sale. I would grab them from time to time in Tampa and Denver, but Levi's was a small part of my business when I was there. Now it is a tremendous. Levi's is one of my top 5 brands. So you can't pick them up if they're $10 to $15, but if they're, it's different if they're 5. If you're buying stuff for $10 or $15, you need high-end home run brands because you're paying $10 or $15 for them. So you need to get stuff that's selling for $30, $35, $40. That's the nature of the business. And here's the good thing. Because your Goodwills, wherever you are, Big Bird Justin, because they're $10 to $15, that means some of the high-end stuff doesn't go really quickly because people who are shopping at those thrift stores are like, man, I don't want to pay $10 to $15 for this Arc'teryx piece. So people pass on Arc'teryx pieces, which means you can find it. Nobody's passing on an Arc'teryx piece here in Asheville. Even if they don't know what Arc'teryx is, they're going to be like, this is a really nice piece and it's $5, the same price as all this other crap, right? But they're like, this one's clearly nicer, even if they've never heard of the brand. So Arc'teryx just bounces off the rack is what I call it, right? They literally put it on the rack and it is gone within minutes because it's a nice piece and everything's $5. So that's the difference, right? You're in a market where you can find Arc'teryx because 15 people are going to pass on it because it's 10 or 15 bucks. 0 people are passing on Arc'teryx at $5 in my area. The good stuff bounces off the racks. In your case, it can sit a little bit, and sometimes you can even get it for 50% off. So I don't know where you're at, Big Bird. I'm making some assumptions based on what you said in the chat, but same Denver areas are getting pricey. So refine your style. Same situation, right? The stuff ain't going to bounce off the rack at 15 bucks. So you can find Arc'teryx and stuff like that because people are going to pass on it because of the price. People aren't passing on it because of price here. It's just gone. Patagonia, it's just gone, right? It bounces off the rack as soon as they put it on there. Goodwill is only one of the options. Most of the Midwest, for instance, has 2 to 3 other chains as well, and the one-off thrifts. Nice, Billy Bob. I like it. I have Nifty, so they do the work, but noticed over the weekend that eBay is putting sold items back on eBay platform. Francis, sounds like eBay is putting sold items back on eBay platform. You're going to have to, if you think that that's Nifty related, just reach out to Nifty through their support and see what's going on there. They'll be able to look at your account and see exactly what's happening. Unfortunately, I can't like look at your account from the back end and kind of see what's happening. Just talk to Nifty's, their support. They're awesome. They'll get back to you really quick and they'll look at your support or they'll look at your account. What did I miss here? So have you used other cross-listing services other than Nifty? And if so, what have been the advantages to Nifty? Yes. So this is Nifty is the 3rd cross-listing platform that I've used for a year or longer. And it's by far better than the other ones that I used previously. I switched to Nifty back in April of 2024, 16 months ago, right? And the first things that automation is so much better than what I was using on the other places. Nobody was doing like the eBay automation tools, like the automatic delist and relist. So that was huge. I've experienced a lot less mistakes. So there's a lot of mistakes that are pretty typical to these cross listing platforms because they're using, eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, Depop, they're using their APIs, right? So they're like going and those places change their APIs. So the code is interacting through basically a backdoor to access those places. But those platforms all make changes to their code all the time. And every time they make a change, right, the cross lister has to go in and make changes. And oftentimes the communication about those changes isn't great. Sometimes things were executed really well or implemented really well. So these cross listers by nature are always reacting to changes by the platforms that they're working with. And that's a challenge. I mean, at the core, that is a challenge for any cross lister. Nifty just reacts to that stuff better. Their code is, it's a newer platform. So they have it's fresh. It's a fresh code base. I feel like they're just on top of things in terms of their engineering team and all that stuff. So there's just less mistakes. It's a more modern platform. It uses AI, right, to recognize like alike listings and stuff. It's just put together better. It's just wired better. So there's going to be less mistakes and all that stuff. That's the biggest thing. So when I switched over to Nifty in April of 2024, and what I did was I connected my eBay, my Poshmark, and my Mercari accounts. Nifty goes in and found all my listings on all three of those platforms, right? And it pulled them into Nifty. So eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, all on a list. And then it went in with AI and it recognized that all these items are the same. So it saw this Polo Ralph Lauren shirt based on the photos were the same on eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari. So it says, this is the same listing, right? Yeah. So I confirm, and it links those three listings right there. It recognizes it all. But what it also did through that process is it found a bunch of listings that were items that already sold on eBay. Like, I already sold this shirt on eBay. Why is it still listed on Mercari? It found dozens and dozens of mistakes. I would say it was something around like 60 plus mistakes of items that sold on other platforms and didn't get taken down by the automation tools of previous cross listers that I used. But what the AI difference, right? Like Nifty went and found all those things, which is great. The other platforms don't do that. It doesn't go in through all your stuff and see everything it's listing and compare it to everything else. So Nifty found like 60 items that shouldn't have been listed anymore on different platforms because they had already sold. Total mess. And that was the mess was created by these other cross listers that I had used for years. So hopefully that helps. Just the way that Nifty's wired and put together, it's just better. It's more modern and it uses that AI, which is huge. So it's got to miss a lot of mistake, or it's got to find a mistake that like another platform would have just made and not known about. I live in the greater Tampa Bay area. Did you have a favorite thrift store in the area that was your go-to? It kind of switches. So I'm sure it's switched since I've been down there. It's been a few years, but the red, white, and blues are really good. There's a city thrift that I've been to recently that's pretty good. But again, they're not all. Some red, white, and blues are better than others. Some city thrifts are better than others. I used to do a lot of Salvation Armies back in the day when I lived down there. But since I've visited, the Salvation Armies have not been as good as they used to be. And Goodwills tend to be really expensive. So you just got to go figure out the lay of the land, Josh. It's different than when I was down there. The only way to know how good a thrift store is to go there once a week for 5 weeks in a row and get an idea of like, what is that place yielding? What is their pricing? What is their sales schedule and all that stuff? It's the only way to do it. Listening to me about like when I lived there 3 years ago and what was good and not good, it's probably not going to be super helpful for you. Things change. Does Nifty have Etsy as one of their platforms? It does. It does, Happy Picker. I changed my eBay store name after the first 30 days. And sometimes when I look up my eBay store, it still shows my old name. And sometimes it shows my new name. Why isn't it all changed to the new one? I don't know. We just talked about Nifty being a very new, modern, modern code base, modern code, modern engineers, right? It's not like this old arcane stuff. eBay is the opposite. eBay was first built in the 90s. So a lot of their code base is super old. And then they have new code base built on top of it and new code base built on top of it and new code base built on top of it. And that stuff doesn't always play nicely. I can't only imagine like how many different like coding languages or programming languages they've used over the years because it's the same platform for 30 years now. Right. So, that's my only explanation for that. You'd have to talk to eBay about it. But my guess is it's just because it's a mess, I'm currently not selling anywhere other than eBay and live auction sites. Nice. Good morning from Carrollton, Texas. What's up, Schluffy? How many items do you upload a day? I do about 70 to 110 a week. Lately, it's been more like 70 to 80 a week, not necessarily every single day. I have my cross-lister Nifty has automation tools, so it's delisting and relisting items every single day. So I don't worry about feeding the algorithm on all the platforms because my cross-lister does it for me. So there's so much like built in, like it's such like old guard eBay, Poshmark, especially eBay, so much old guard about like listing every day, and just being like crazy about it. Like, well, if you can list 10 listings, if you create 10 listings today, don't list all 10, do 2 today, 2 the next day, 2, like, look, I get all that stuff. But once you get a cross listing service, right, or an automation tool that's relisting items every single day, you're feeding that algorithm. You're good. To me, spreading it out at that point is crazy. So to answer your question, about 70 to 80 a week. Hello from Southeast Tennessee. What's up? Welcome in. What's up, WK? Good to have you in here. Let's do some shipping, huh? Been doing a lot of talking. I've been doing a lot of flapping my gums, which I'm okay with. I love answering your questions. I love kind of ranting, giving you kind of like the behind the scenes. That's what this is all about the business. Everyone's business is a little bit different. And I think if I kind of process out loud what makes my business different and unique and why I had to make those decisions, I think it helps y'all hopefully. So let me know if that helps. Anyway, next up on Poshmark is a bundled sale. So I shipped out one of these shirts already today. The brand is 7 Diamonds. So this buyer came in and bought 2. They're both size extra large. This one's got a nice little stripy pattern. It's a golf polo. And this one's got like, I don't know, it looks like tents almost, or like a little triangle, like all over print on this. So this bundle, these sold for $68 combined on a best offer. So $34 a piece on these. I paid 13 bucks. Like that. These had been sitting for a little bit. Let's throw it in a little box. Let's do it. I got these little free USPS shipping supplies. This is the box 4. It's like a little square. I think these shirts will fit on this. Let's do that. Why not? The boxes are free. Ooh. So these are this is a bundle sale going out to Ashley. Thank you, Ashley. Ashley was negotiating with me. She was trying to get these shirts. I think her first offer was like, she wanted both of them for 40 bucks, so $20 each, but she ultimately came up to 68 bucks on these because I wasn't budging. So she finally accepted. I think I sent her the same offer like 3 times in a row as a counter offer to hers. So she came all the way up from 40 to 68. People got to shoot their shot. I'm not insulted by it. Oh, I put the wrong thank you card in there. What a dummy. It's a hot day. I'm like sweating in here, like a hot, kind of humid day here in Asheville. That's Bethany's thank you card. Ashley. Sorry, Ashley. Out the door. Planning on doing this. I have the stuff. Nice. What? So you've been buying inventory, or what's going on over there? Or you just have like a lot of clothing that you no longer wear and that you're trying to get rid of? Is that what you're talking to me about? What you talking to me about? Katie and Walter in the house. Nice. Welcome, Katie and Walter. Good to have you. Good to have you. Is that a flat rate box or a priority box? It's a priority box. It is not a flat rate. I can use flat rate boxes on Poshmark, by the way, too. I do have some like over in the corner there, but yeah, you can use any of the USPS priority boxes for Poshmark orders, including flat rates. Next up, which is our last Poshmark order, then we're going to pivot over to eBay, is an order for Bethany. Bethany is in Chico, California. Chico, California is home to Sierra Nevada Brewing. And we actually have a Sierra Nevada Brewing here in the Asheville area. It's technically in Mills River, which is 10 minutes from us, which is their other brewery. It's like a palace. So that's how I know Chico, California. Let's see here. What did Bethany get? What did Bethany get? Was it this? Got a little sideways here. No. Now I'm sideways. What did Bethany get? Oh, sorry, that's the wrong order. That's the wrong order. That's a chris@peak.com order. I'm all sideways. What do we got next? Poshmark. I didn't ship this hat yet. So this is going to Durango, Colorado. So I got an order for this Yeti hat. So brand new with tags, Yeti hat. I picked these up for $2.50 on clearance. You can see I have a few more of them up there. They have not been a good seller, but I actually just sold one last week too. So it's good to get 2 of these out the door. This sold for probably not a lot of money. 12 bucks. Not a good pickup, but I figured, what the heck? There was like 10 of them. I paid $2.50 a piece. I'm like, I can make some money off these. Turns out I'm not really making much money off these. It'd be great if they moved like really quickly because it's obviously an easy listing. I take a couple of photos of a hat, right? Change the quantity to 10. Super easy, right? So I was like, maybe they'll sell quick and it'll be worth it. Maybe not. Let's see. Can I fit this in? I'm going to put this in one of these USPS priority shoe boxes. It'll fit this hat nicely. That way I don't have to use one of my own boxes. My typical hat boxes are either an 8x6x6 or if it's a smaller hat, an 8x6x4. Those boxes typically cost me around 40 to 60 cents, just depending on if they're on sale or not at any given time. But I'll just use this free USPS priority box because this is a Poshmark order and everything goes USPS priority. And we'll just resize it a little bit. Thank you card is in. So again, typically this is a flat brim, like kind of a high crown trucker hat. Typically I put this in an 8x6x6 box if this was an eBay sale. But since it's a Poshmark, I can just use one of these free USPS priority boxes. Cut it down a little bit and out the door. All right, so that concludes Poshmark. Let's do some eBay sales, y'all. Let me know in the chat. Do you got any eBay sales going out the door today? If so, I want to hear all about it. Let's get some water here. Missy Carver is in the house. What's up, Missy? A buck is a buck. That's right. I wouldn't buy it again. You got to be honest about it, but sometimes I like taking shots and trying new things. You don't learn unless you try stuff. We gold dredge at Lucky Strike in Marion. Nice. Marion's about, probably takes us about 45 to an hour to get to Marion from where we're at. We're south of Asheville and Fletcher, so we got to drive up to Asheville, then drop down 40 to Marion, if you care. What's up, Geraldo? Oh, thank you for that kind words. Geraldo. I like it. This morning, no eBay. Okay, I don't have any Mercari, but I have eBay, so we're even there. All right, so eBay. Let's go here. First one, Polo Ralph Lauren, just a bread and butter piece right here. Sold for full asking price, $19.99. Men's size, medium, and a really nice pattern on this like lightweight cotton button down, and it's got the pony on the chest. Where is it? Yeah, there it is. You can't really see it. It's there. Trust me. Pony on the chest. So we're going to ship all these in poly bags because now we're switching over to eBay. All these shipping labels will be USPS Ground Advantage. This is going in a 12x9 poly bag. I have all my shipping supplies linked at chris@peak.com, or I'll give you a direct link to all our recommended reseller supplies right here in the chat. If you're on Instagram, you can just go to chris@peak.com and find that too, or just click on the link in my profile. That'll work, and you'll find it too. So this is going to Timothy. Thank you, Timothy. I paid $5 for the shirt at a thrift store, sold for $20 on eBay. I'll pay a little less than $2 in fees on that thing, so we'll just call it $2. So it'll be $18 minus 5, and I made $13 off this shirt. Thank you, Timothy. These ones should go down nice and quickly. Next up is another Polo Ralph Lauren. The next one is a brand new with tags Polo Ralph Lauren. Polo Ralph Lauren has been my #1 seller for as far as brands are concerned. It's been my #1 brand in terms of units sold every single year. This is my 7th year in business. I suspect that will be the same again. This isn't the right one. It's another Polo Ralph Lauren. Got 4 Polo Ralph Laurens coming your way. This one's brand new with tags, men's size extra large, tall. It's a polo shirt. It's a long sleeve, and it's got the pony on the chest. The long sleeve's great seller this time of year too, as we're transitioning into the fall. So $59.99 on this. I paid $25 for this retail clearance. So 25 into 60. The buyer's going to pay $6.95 shipping. This is going to Matthew. Matthew's in Carmi, Illinois. So I'm going to pay about $10 in fees on this. So that's going to leave me with $50. So I'm going to make $25 in profit because I paid $25 for this shirt. And this sold in, I just listed this over the weekend, I believe. I'll give you the exact number of days. Oh, sorry. I listed it last weekend. Sold in 7 days. So 7 days, I turned 25 into $25 net profit. And that's great because I haven't paid the credit card bill for that 25. I won't pay the credit card bill for that until September the 15th, which means I'm making money with the credit card company's money. We pay off our credit card every month, so we don't pay any interest. But that's one thing about retail arbitrage. People get intimidated by the initial cost. Like, wow, you paid $25 for an item only to make $25 of profit. I'm like, yeah, but it's not really my money I used. I used the credit card company's money, and I don't have to pay them till September the 15th. And I already got the profit from this, and I can use that $25 again on that same credit card. And now the stuff that I buy now, actually my credit card closes, the cycle closes today. So anything I buy tomorrow, I don't have to pay till October the 15th, right? So I can spend $25 more profit, turn that profit into even more money. Talk about quick sales right here. Tori Richard, I posted a video about this a couple days ago when I found it. This is a extra large, and it's a cotton lawn, 100% cotton lawn, which is a really lightweight, like thin weave cotton. You can see a really cool pattern on this thing. I got a comment on the video that said something like "good luck selling that" or something, and then 3 days later it sold. So this sold for $22. I paid $5 for it at the thrift store. Tori Richard is one of those brands, like the pattern really matters. Size matters too. The bigger sizes do sell better. This is a size extra large, but really like pattern. You know, looking for big, bold, colorful patterns. Think about what people, when they buy Hawaiian shirts, right? They want it to be bold, unique. They're going on vacation. They want to have a good time with good energy. This one's going to Tracy. Tracy's in Friendswood, Texas. It's a nice town name, Friendswood. And you get points or cash back. That's right. That's right. I watched the Bearded Thrift Machine and his wife too. Nice. They seem like nice people. Geraldo is going to make 10 sales today. I hope so, Schluffy. I like that positive vibes. Currently listing. Hopefully get some sales tonight. I like it. Let me know if you're working down below in the chat. Drop a W in the chat if you're working right now. If you're hanging out. I'm sorry, I'm distracting you now intentionally. Come back to the computer screen or come back to the keyboard. Hit that W and drop it in below in the chat if you're working along with me. If you're shipping, I want to know about it. If you're listening, I want to know about it. Levi's. Tell you about, this is the first time I've bought these XX chinos. First time. I've passed them a couple times recently just because I wanted to see if I found them since. And I was like, well, I want to see if these ones sell. So this is a size 38 by 30. It's just like a regular old khaki. Standard taper khaki, 38 by 30, stretch chinos. And let's see how long they took to sell. Okay, they took 188 days to sell. So they took 6 months to sell. So maybe these aren't the best pickup. Anyway, I paid $5 for them. They sold for 20 bucks. We are just getting into kind of like, pants and khaki season. They sell all year, but the sell-through rate goes up. So let me think. When I bought these, it was February the 10th. It was like the end of winter buying season. I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about these. I'm curious what you think. I paid 5. They sold for 20. They took 188 days, 6 months. I don't know if I'll pick these up. Might be a good in-season special though. I might pick them up now because they have a really good chance to sell in the fall. Like this is a great fall item. So I call an in-season special is something that I don't pick up off season. I pick it up either right before or right at the beginning of the on season. Right now we're on the very beginning of the fall on season. So maybe I'd pick them up now, but maybe not in February. Maybe that's a bad idea at the end of the season when people are shifting already to buying short sleeve shirts and shorts and that sort of thing. So it's something I have to think about. February is also one of my slowest months of the year for sales. So this is going to Randall. Randall, thanks for your biz. Randall is in Flint, Michigan. Drinking my peak season. What's up? Thrifting with Sunshine. That's awesome. Doing some admin work, getting some coffee in. I'm kind of like on the last few little dribbles of coffee. So cheers. I take care of my mom. She's bedridden and on hospice, so I'm always busy. I don't consider it work. WK, I appreciate you being honest about what's going on over there with your mom and your family. It's great that you're able to spend time with her. I think that's great. And sending positive vibes to you. That sounds like a lot that you're dealing with over there. And I don't know if you need my vibes, but I'm sending them your way if you need them. If you don't need those, then send them along to somebody else who might need them. But I hope you're doing well. Look at all these people working. Piece of Scrap is working. Nick is working. Darla is working. This is how we scare up all the people who are like watching. They're creeping in the background. No, I appreciate that you're working and listening. That's great. What did I miss? It depends on who is looking for what. There you go. Sold a Cybertruck steering wheel on Facebook Marketplace this morning. One thing on eBay. So you got to tell us about this. Where did you find the Cybertruck steering wheel? 1 and 2. How much did you sell it for? A Cybertruck steering wheel. That's a crazy find. That would be like a cool. Schluffy, can you send me a photo of that? Send me 2 photos. The photo of like the actual sale and the sale price. Oh wait, you did it on Facebook Marketplace, huh? But yeah, if you send me a picture, I'd love to see a picture of that, and I'd love to share that on socials as like a way to just like be on the lookout for cool things. A Cybertruck steering wheel. I like to do posts of my viewers and followers of their cool sales too, to help teach people like what to look out for. A Cybertruck steering wheel would be a rad post that I would love to share. If you want to send me a DM with that, if you're interested in that sort of thing, it's a great way to teach. NFL jerseys have been really good for me as late. This is the best time of year to sell like NFL stuff. If you have NFL stuff or college football or just college team stuff that's not listed, literally right now is the best time to sell it. Like the next 30 days, it doesn't get any better. It's the beginning of the season. Everybody's optimistic. Everybody's team has a chance. Everyone's got to make it to the playoffs. But if you wait another month, there's already going to be some teams that are like, yep, we're out of it. We're done. So now is the time because everybody's hopeful. Everybody's excited. And then pretty soon, like half the league is going to be excited. Get it listed now. Somebody's quarterback's got to go out. I hope it doesn't happen to your team, but you know what I mean. Now is the time to sell that stuff. I used to work at Tesla. Heck yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Anthony, what did you do for Tesla? Just kind of curious. You don't have to share if you don't want to. I was a career coach for over a decade. So I'm always curious, like, people's career paths and what they were doing and what they're up to. I'm really excited about this next sale. This is going to Anthony. I love selling Joseph A. Bank. Now, you're not going to be able to see the tag on it. You'll see the tailored fit tag, but this is a Joseph A. Bank blazer. You can kind of see the pattern. It's got like a twill, kind of like almost like a heathered pattern blue. And this pattern is like really, really good, really modern, really in style. This is a modern jacket with an in style pattern, sold for full asking price, $39.99. I spent $7 for it. I don't pick up all Joseph A. Banks. I don't pick up like just standard plain stuff. I don't pick up like the really old dated suits with the wide lapels. I pick up modern, thinner lapel blazers and suits. And especially if they have like a really in style pattern, like this blue kind of twill, you can see it right there. It's a good representation of it. This kind of stuff is selling really well, especially in the summer, like lighter blues and stuff. But blue check, blue plaid is going to be really great. Gray check, gray plaid, that's really in right now. So really excited about the sale going out the door. Full asking price, $40, $7 buy on this. My bigger margins oftentimes come from blazers. It's my best category for margins. I can always find them for $7 in my area. And I'm usually picking up blazers that are going to sell for $30 or more. So that's always a great margin. So this sold for $40, full asking price. So my fees on this are going to be about $8. So this leaves me with $32. I spent $7, so $25 profit on this. 25 going to Anthony. If you are going to sell suits and blazers, so selling clothing on eBay and Poshmark right now is very, very competitive. Very competitive. Much more competitive than when I started in 2018. There's so many more people out there, and people have raised their game. There's a lot of people out there who are taking really good photos. They're including measurements in all their listings. They're promoting and all that stuff. There's not a lot of like these like amateur hack sellers. Like there still is, but there's way more pros. People have just really upped their game. And in order to compete with those folks, you need to up your game too. And I've had to up my game. Blazers is like in suits, like formal wear is another level. I feel like the sellers who sell a lot of suits and blazers have even better photos, have even better listings, right? These are like the people who just sell this stuff are just elevated. And that makes sense. When you go to a store that sells and you're trying on suits and blazers, you get a higher level of service, right? You got the guy, he comes out, he's measuring you, he's giving you suggestions and recommendations. You're trying stuff on, he's helped, it's just a different experience. It's a nicer shopping experience than going to just like buying a shirt somewhere. So the same thing happens on eBay and Poshmark. There's just a different level. The competition is at a higher level, and there's just a different expectation when you're buying men's formal wear. So if you're going to compete in that category, get your photos dialed, like really get your photos dialed. Make sure that you get your measurements dialed and your listings just look good and professional, because if you look at your competition in the suits and blazers world, people are really good. They got mannequins, they're putting like shirts and ties underneath the blazers and suits. I mean, people are really crushing it. So if you're going to compete in that category, you probably got to elevate your game even more so than if you're selling shirts and jeans and all that stuff. Tesla customers are very picky. So when there's a small flaw in something, they replace it under warranty. Tesla throw all the stuff away. So some of us take us home. That's nice. I was a mobile service tech. Very cool. Very cool. What are your thoughts on promoting listings? I promote all my listings on eBay at a 5% rate. I promote everything. It's a very, very crowded market selling clothing. I didn't promote at the beginning, and then I started promoting at 1%. They don't allow you to do 1%. They raised the floor to 2% a couple of years ago. But so then I raised it to 2%, and then I raised it to 3%, and then I raised it to 4%, and now I'm at 5% because it's just more competitive. It's more and more competitive on those platforms. There's more sellers, and there's more like pro expert sellers, people who are really up their game. So if you want to be competitive and sell some of these lower end stuff like Joseph A. Banks, like I do, you got to up your game. You got to up your listing game and promote and cross list and all that stuff. Melody's in the house. What's up, Melody? A new bolo to me, Charles Tyrrell Blazers. Charles Tyrrell Blazers are really great sellers. Their shirts are kind of like meh if you can get them cheap enough. It's a high-end brand. It's a British brand, expensive stuff. But the Blazers do sell well. I don't find them often. I found like maybe 2 of them. But that's awesome. Charles Tyrrell Blazers. It's a great bolo. Thank you for sharing that with the chat. I love it, Melody. Sold 3 in the last month. That's crazy. That's more than I think I've sold 2 of those total in my career. Have you been to the Amazon bins? I found Riedel wine decanter there. Got it for $8, sold it for $300. Carlos, I've been to one of those Amazon bin stores. I went to one in Spartanburg, South Carolina. It's like an hour and 15 minutes away from here. It was fine. I got a few things. It's just like anything else. If I built that into my hustle pretty consistently, I bet you I could find some really cool stuff. But I found for me that it probably wasn't going to be the best fit for my business, especially because I'm really clothing focused, and all the clothing at those Amazon bin stores, it was all like the Amazon branded. It was just really low end, very, very, very cheap stuff. So for me as a clothing reseller, it's not a great place. But yes, you can get some home runs. I'm trying to think. I found something cool. It's been like 2 years since I went, but I found something like pretty cool, and I don't remember what it was. I found some shoes, like some okay shoes and stuff like that. But Yeah, it's definitely, if you got a good bins nearby you that you can, an Amazon bins nearby you that has good pricing and gets good consistent inventory, then that could be a crazy weapon. I don't know if we have one in Asheville. I'd have to drive for one. That's the other thing. To drive an hour and 15 minutes is tough for me to source. A new bolo to me. Oh, I already read that one. Thanks, Melody. I'll be back. You're allowed going thrifting here to be nice. Nice. Well, that's awesome. Thanks, Nick. What did I miss? I'm going to our local ministries today. If I find some good finds, I'll make a short on it on our channel. Nice. That's awesome. I'll look out for it. Just tag me in it so I see it. I might forget to look. Live, laugh, love. What's up? How are you? What did I miss? What did I miss? If I missed a comment or a question, I didn't do it on purpose. What's up, Tej? I just missed it. That's all. Drop it again. I'll see you. What's up, Tej? How are you? Can you add the promote feature in Nifty? That's a good question. How do I do my okay, Josh, that's a good question. I had to think about that for a second. So to do the promoted listings using Nifty, you would set up on eBay. Let me see if I can show you this. If I go to a listing, you would set it up through eBay. You have to set up an automatic, like an auto. I just want to get the words right. Promotions. eBay is like just finding your way through eBay. It's like I've been on here forever, and it's always finding something like this. I think I go to campaigns under advertising. Is this it? Yes. Okay. Okay. Let me share this. This is going to have like numbers and stuff, whatever. What's up? King Bosch is in the house. Sold an Affliction shirt this morning for $50. Nice one. Joseph A. Bank. I haven't been looked up. I want to make $20 a flip. Still learning. Nice, Alex. Jose Banks is one of those brands that's going to take a learning curve. Most of it is not worth picking up. It's about picking up like the cream of the crop and getting like really good prices for it. So it just takes some time. I share a lot of those sales, including one that I just shared a little bit ago. So it is definitely got to take some time. You'll have some misses like me. Like I bought some bad Joseph A. Banks and, they sat around forever. That's got to happen. A senior short about the Walmart hat. I found some Walmart vests the other day and have a good sell-through rate too. There you go. People buy that stuff. I don't know why, but they do. I asked how you made your thank you cards. Vistaprint.com. I've been using Vistaprint for business cards since like my first like job after college. I think my first print was like 2004. And I've used Vistaprint. So that's that. They end up costing me, I buy like a few thousand of them at a time. So they end up costing me like 3.5 or 4 cents a piece. And I just used a template that they had on there. I added my text and my logo and a QR code, and there you have it. Vistaprint is great. Very, very cheap. I've used them for a bunch of different places I've worked, and for both of my businesses, I've used those cards too. Let's do this shared screen. Campaign. So if you're going to promote listings and you're going to use Nifty, you're going to want to set up a campaign. So this is in the Seller Hub. First of all, I'm going to put the question up on the screen, the right one. This is Josh's question. So Seller Hub, under advertising, I clicked on campaigns. It brings me to this page right here, and you can see May 6th for all listings. So you can see 1,581 listings. This is from May 6th of last year, 2024 is when I did this. So I'm going to be a little rusty talking about this because it was May 6th, 2024. I started using Nifty in April of 2024, 16 months ago. So you can see 1,581 listings are in this. And if I click on this campaign, I don't really look at this very often. Oh, you can see my ad rate. Sorry, I thought my ad rate was 5%. I have my ad rate as 6%. And I have it set up so that you can see ad rate range, 6% fixed. All listings, right? So anything that gets listed is going to automatically get listed with 6%. So it happens through eBay. It doesn't happen through Nifty. But Nifty will push that listing to eBay, and eBay is automatically putting every single one of my listings, including when they get delisted and relisted, it's putting them with that ad rate of 6.1. Sorry, I thought it shows you how long it's been since I looked at this. So the ad rate is 6.1 that I've been saying 5% all this time. But again, I don't look at my listing rate because I don't have to. It's all automatic, which is a beautiful thing. So it's out of sight, out of mind. But you can see up through those promoted listings in the last, what is this? How many days is this? I'm guessing it's the last 30 days. Let me see what it says. I'm guessing it doesn't, yeah, past 31 days. Sorry, I see it right there. So 4,183 clicks on my promoted listings. It's generated me $4,877 in sales, and I've paid $297 on those sales for fees. And I don't know what ROAS is. Return on ad spend. Gotcha. 16.39 ROAS. But this is how important promoting is to my business. It's in the last 31 days has resulted in 4,877 sales, and it's cost me about $300. So there you go. There you have it. Hope that helps. You're welcome, Josh. And I know that wasn't the best tutorial, but it was a tutorial. How about that? What's up, Carolyn? How are you? You're welcome, Josh. All right, let's get back into some shipping. I like these questions, though. This is fun for me. Boy, I hadn't dug into that promoted screen. You can tell like how rusty it's. I literally haven't had to look at it since I turned it on. 2024 May 6th is probably the last time I actually looked at that screen. That's the beauty of having some of this automation is you just don't have to worry about that stuff. It just happens, and it is rad. Let's get back to. Oh, I canceled out of my shipping screen. Did I? I did. That stinks. All right, let me bring this up. eBay ship. Paid and shipped. Just jumped on. Do you promote everything? I do. We were just showing like the automated campaign that I do on eBay that I set up April or May the 6th of 2024. All right, let's get back into listing. I left off after the Joseph A. Banks. I got this Under Armour quarter zip. Not a piece I typically pick up. Earlier this spring, I was playing around with Under Armour to see what I can move and what I couldn't move. And I picked up a fair amount of these quarter zips. I don't know, maybe 8 or 10 of them. This one happened to be a women's one. I didn't know when I picked it up. Women's size, medium, heat gear, little quarter zip, like athletic training piece. This sold on a nifty best offer of $17.10. So I had it listed for, what does that mean? I had it listed for $18.99. Yeah, I had it listed for $18.99. And Nifty sent out a 10% off offer to a watcher on eBay, and they accepted that offer for $17.10. The buyer is going to pay $6.95 shipping. Let me see how long this took to sell. I feel like it took a little bit. Where are you? It took 178 days. So like I said, February the 16th, I picked this up. Figured this would be a good seller in the spring, like a good like training little lightweight quarter zip. Not so much. The market on these is probably more like, 14 or 15 bucks. So I was priced a little above the market. So it took me 6 months to sell the item, and I got $17.10 for it, which is still probably a little bit above the market. But I didn't have a lot of good luck with those quarter zips, both men's and women's, picking them up from Under Armour. I do better with the golf polos. I'll pick those up in like February, March, April, and then have the whole. Why is somebody filming the front of my house? I mean, it's public. They're allowed to do so. It's still strange. They're gone now. It looked like they were like filming with their cell phone and like in like a, like, what do you call it? Like landscape mode or whatever. It looked like they had their camera out the passenger window and were filming like as they drove by my house, like really, really slowly. They were stopped when I first noticed. That's strange. I'm not worried about it, but it is strange. So this is sold to Amy. Let's see. Amy. Thank you, Amy. This is going to York, Nebraska. York, Nebraska. New sub, Zephyr Hills. I know. This is a tough one to say. Zephyr Hills. I know Zephyr Hills. That's my parents live in Land O'Lakes, so I know your area. I sell on Posh only, but debating selling on eBay. But it gives me the chills. So Blue, thanks for the comment / question. Yeah, eBay's got to have a little bit of a learning curve. But if I just tell you like if I compare sales for the month so far, and this is a slow month. But if I compare sales between platforms, I'll tell you how much I sell on eBay compared to Poshmark. I've sold 100 units on eBay so far in August, and I've sold 33 on Poshmark. So 3 times exactly the sales on eBay to Poshmark. The reach and the sales potential on eBay is just so much bigger than Poshmark. 3 times. And so last month I sold 174 items and I sold 61 on Poshmark. So again, just about 3 times as much on eBay as Poshmark. So there's a learning curve for sure. The shipping is more challenging. The listing has more things to click and check. And it's just an older platform that has more like sort of nuances and nooks and crannies that will take you some time to learn. But the sales potential is there. The sales potential is there. Welcome in, new sub. Good to have you, Blue. If you go back and look, it's crazy to see promoted rate and sales rate are almost identical. Nice. I'm not really sure I'm picking up what you're putting down, but you noticed something and I liked it. What did I miss there? Okay. Next up is Danielle. What did Danielle get? Sorry, my normal shipping screen I got closed out of, so I'm on this other one. Danielle got this Polo Ralph Lauren. This one had a small flaw, like a small spot on the bottom front of the shirt. I pointed it out in the item title, in the description, and a close-up photo with a pointer pointing right at that flaw. I priced it down at the bottom of the market at $15.99. I would typically price this shirt at like $20.99. Priced it at $15.99, and it sold. Full asking price, $15.99. So when you do get items home and you don't notice that they were flawed at the thrift store, it's got to happen, especially if you're doing any kind of volume. You got like 20, 30 things in your cart, you're going to miss a few of them. And it's okay. The stuff will still sell. Just price it a little lower than everybody else. And make sure you call out those flaws really well and describe them so people know what they're getting into. I get very few returns on items that have flaws. You would think, people would get these and they'd be like, oh, I didn't notice it in the listing, but I get very few returns on these. And if I do get a return on something, I guess it's because it doesn't fit. So it's not because of like the flaw. It's very, very rare. I can't even remember the last time that I got one of those returned because they didn't notice the flaw. I could live off only eBay. I can't do that on any other platform personally. Nick, I agree with that statement. If I was just selling on Poshmark or just selling on Mercari, I would not be able to do this full time. My sell-through rate would be way too low. It would just not work. What's up tomorrow? Welcome in. Hey, Chris, live stream on IG went down. Oh, I'm sorry. That's a bummer. I guess I'll kill it. Thank you for letting me know. I'll just end it so it's not like sitting there all weird. Cool. Thank you for letting me know. It's killed. Once it goes down, there's really not much I can do. Unfortunately, it just is what it is. So I appreciate you letting me know, though, so I can bring it down. Got a couple more sales left. Polo Ralph Lauren. When I pick up a lot of Polo Ralph Lauren brand new with tags, I find them on retail clearance. I typically pay between $22 and $29 for these. Now, I was under the assumption that these would sell faster for me if they have like the little, than like a plain white one. I figured that this would sell faster because it's got that little neat little color hit right there. I figured that's like going to be a less common piece on eBay and it would make it a little bit, better sell-through rate. That has not been the case. These ones that have these little stripes around the collar have not sold very well for me. It does have the pony on the chest. The retail is $115. This one sold for $58.99. And I paid somewhere around, we'll just say 29 on that one. But I want to see how long that took to sell and I always thought that they'd sell better. Let's see here. I'm looking for you. There you go. That took a year to sell. I buy these constantly, and I might have had multiple of them, but that took a year to sell. I probably had like 3 or 4 of them, right? So that was behind other ones before this one sold. But still, I don't do as well with those ones. I'm going to pick up less of those. My USPS is here, so I got to go out and bring him these. This is going to, oh my gosh, that's a weird shipping label. Let me bring these out real quick. USPS guys here. See if I can pound out these last few while he's grabbing up those ones. So this one, I don't want to make mistakes though. This is where you make mistakes. You gotta slow down here. All right, so this is going to Robert. So we'll get this going. So $58.99. I think this is the fourth Polo Ralph Lauren piece that we sold today, or I should say over the last 2 days. This is 48 hours of sales. The last time I shipped was Saturday morning around 11 o'clock. Next up is JD. We'll move through these a little bit faster. This is actually the fifth Polo Ralph Lauren. This one's a hoodie. It's one of those t-shirt hoodies. It's got the pony right there. You won't be able to see the tag, but it's a lightweight t-shirt hoodie. This one sold for $22.99. I paid $5 for it at a thrift store. Just a solid navy blue t-shirt hoodie. Nice everyday piece. I like these. So this is going to JD. JD's in Mount Joy, Pennsylvania. What should you be picking up for the winter and fall? Alex, stuff that people are wearing in the winter and fall. I know that sounds like a stupid response, but think about what are people wearing. They're wearing jeans, they're wearing flannels, they're wearing quarter zips, they're wearing sweaters, they're wearing lightweight jackets, that sort of stuff right now. And as we move into the winter, they'll wear puffy jackets and ski jackets and all that stuff. So we're always like a couple months before the season. So right now people are already buying fall stuff. Then once we get up to October, people will already be buying winter stuff. So always buying for the next season. I buy for all seasons, but I'll get a little less selective with fall stuff this time of year in the last couple months because I know I have a long fall and winter selling season to get rid of those things. So this one took forever to sell. Don't buy this shirt. It is a Alexander or Colors by Alexander Julian. The only reason I don't pick up this brand, the only reason I did is because it's got this like all over cowboy print on top of the plaid and it says outdoor life all over it. Thought it would sell quick. It took 3 freaking years to sell, but it sold. Thank you, Walt, for your order. Sometimes you take a chance on items and sometimes they sell really quick and it's cool because you're like, yeah, man, that was a rad piece. Even though the metrics on it are bad for a brand, I'm like, I'm going to grab it anyway because it's unique. Sometimes that works. Sometimes it doesn't. Hold on a second. So we got an eBay return to go through, so we can do that as a team here in a minute. But we just wrapped up shipping, so that's pretty good. Ooh, I got one more to do. I forgot. This order is going out to Bethany. This came in at chris@peak.com. Check this out. She got one of the last ones we have, Get a Real Job. So this is our nice, like soft, brand new hoodie. But this is Get a Real Job. We get that comment all the time. Get a real job. People don't understand what it is that we do. I think it's like 7% of the U.S. adult population runs their own business. So people just sort of don't get any business in general. Never mind like this one where we go to thrift stores and retail stores and flip stuff. Everyone says get a job. Like that's the cooler thing to do than to work on your own. Look, if you work for someone else, I think it's awesome. I worked for someone else for most of my career. But to shoot someone else down is kind of like doing their own thing. That's just crazy language to me. So we made a sweatshirt about it. We get that comment so often. Bethany's got herself a sweatshirt coming her way. So thank you, Bethany. It's getting to be sweatshirt season. And I hope you rock this with pride. Get a real job, kid. Bethany, I'm going to throw in a Chris@Peak sticker there for you too on the house. Handwritten thank you card, of course. You know how we roll around here. Thank you so much, Bethany. We'll be twinning. My sweatshirt's over there hanging on that rack. Hasn't exactly been sweatshirt weather lately. I can't wait to rock that one again. All right, let's see if we got any orders that have come in on Poshmark or eBay that we can talk about, or if we have any offers to rip through. Let's see what we got here. We got another sale. I'm going to pack up the sale, actually. Let's do it. I'm going to show you. I think there was a negotiation on this one. Oh, wow. This one actually shocks me. This one freaking shocks me. All right. So Poshmark, I had these boots listed for $99. Nifty automatically sent an offer of $89 because this person liked the listing. So 10 minutes later, Nifty sent that $89 offer, trying to close the deal. This person countered at 45. So they wanted less than 50% of my listing price, right? Brand new inbox, Solomon Gore-Tex boots, high-end stuff, $170 boots. And I counter offered at the same price, $89, and they accepted. This usually doesn't happen where somebody's like 50% or less and they actually come up and accept my reasonable offer. But they shot their shot. It didn't work. They realized I was going to hold tight at $89. They came up and they bought them for $89. That doesn't happen too often. Every now and again it happens. So that's why I always counter offer all offers. I don't typically decline unless like we've gone back and forth a few times and it becomes clear that that person's not budging. Then I will decline or I'll ignore it or whatever. But early on, I'm always going to counter offer. I'm going to give them a couple shots at my $89 price. So this is actually a thank you to Nifty for getting this person on the hook with that automatic offer, which is cool. And then I was able to reel them in by just dropping that offer again. I'm going to drop, this gets me extra sales every single day. I think we had like 4 of them today. I'm going to drop the link right there for the free trial of Nifty for 7 days. You can check it out, see if it works. No financial commitment. It is free for 7 days. If you like it after the 7 days, that same link is going to get you 15% off your first month too. So big part of my business. I switched to it 16 months ago from another cross lister and another automation tool. I had 2 separate things. I had a cross lister and I had automation. And I switched from that to Nifty, which does both of those things. It also has AI listing, which has really sped up my business. So again, I can't talk about it enough. I just got a sale right there, like live. Thank you to Nifty. While I'm talking to you, Nifty is, sent that offer and then I sent a counter offer and we landed the deal. So doesn't it say declined or am I tripping? Did someone else buy them? Oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you're right. Maybe someone else bought it. Hold on. I had a notification that said it sold. Or did I read it wrong? I might have been reading the last. Oh, it sold to somebody else, I think. Yep, it sold to somebody else. Sorry. That's awesome. So who knows? Maybe that activity that was happening on the listing because of the offer and the back and forth, I thought I landed them. No, it came in from somebody else. So they sold on a Nifty best offer for $89. I can show that right there. So somebody else bought them, $89. That's hilarious. No, you weren't tripping. I was tripping. This is what happens when you flap your gums live for like an hour and a half or gosh, it's been 2 hours now. So somebody else bought those boots. I thought it, but that was a Nifty best offer. So this happened while we were, I think I can show you that. Let's see if I can show the offer for it. How come it's not showing it? Now I'm confused. Anyway, this person accepted the $89 offer. I don't know if I can see the negotiation. That's even sweeter when it goes to someone else. Yeah, I agree. I mean, all sales are great sales, but either way, it sold for $89. I'm happy. Let's go get these boxed up and let's get them out the door. That's pretty cool. So let me bring this up on my desktop. We'll print out the shipping label. What I like about Poshmark shipping is basically everything. It's got a ship priority, which means it's going to get to the customer faster, which means they're going to be happier, which I like. I don't have to weigh the item. Anything under 5 pounds is flat rate. They already generate the USPS priority label. So I'm just going to print out that label right now. If they do bundles, like I had a bundle earlier, and it automatically does the bundle. It gives the offer, the seller one price, that same $8.30. They can get 2, 3, 4, whatever items. We had one that had 2 earlier today, but I just love the Poshmark shipping. I think it's so easy for people who are getting started. Shipping's intimidating if you haven't done this sort of every day for years, right? Shipping is like a weird thing. Not many people know how to do it. over the years, I've gotten more questions and more like nerves about shipping from people than anything else about this business. And Poshmark just makes it so easy. I feel like eBay could do the same thing, but they just don't. All right, I just want to make sure I got multiples of these. I want to make sure I grab the right one. So bear with me for a second. I just got to look at the photo. Okay. The number is 646 on 7. Excuse me. Okay, so 1 second. Have multiples of these, so I just want to make sure I get the right ones. They're the Ebony Mocha Mousse Almond Cream, UK size 7, and let's see, 846 on that. 50569. Yeah, that's the right one, and then it's 412956. Cool. So, brand new inbox. Solomon's. These are going to Lila. Thank you, Lila. And we're going to make another custom box. This is the third time. So if you missed the first 2 times, we're going to do it again. These boxes are free from USPS.com. It's like a broken record doing this today. Sold a lot of boots. Third pair of boots. $10.95 is this box. It's USPS priority right here. And we're going to resize this because there's no way boots are going to fit in this. Right? Way too big. We're going to resize this box super quick. Probably take 90 seconds. So I'm going to put this on the edge of the table. You can see it there. The very corner of the table. I'm just going to line up the edge of the shoe box with the edge of this $10.95 priority box. And I'm going to create a fold on the edge of the table right there. I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to spin it once. And I'm going to do the same exact thing again. So I'm going to have 2 new edges. There it is. So now you can see that that will fit. Right in. Very satisfying. Now all I got to do is create a couple of new flaps so you can fold the edges closed right on those same folding lines. And taper closed. You can see just like that, we got this box. I'm going to do the other side. I'll do the flaps. Slide this in. This is from Lila. Lila's in Grand Junction, Colorado. I got friends in Grand Junction. My friend Dan lives in Grand Junction. All right. And just like that. Slap our shipping label on, and we're good to go. So brand new inbox boots. Nice profit item on these. I'll make about $50 profit on those boots right there. So nice pickup. Good online retail arbitrage grab there that is making me a lot of money. I paid 20-something bucks a piece on average for those boots. And they're selling on average for about $89 to $95, which is freaking awesome. Some of them are selling full asking price $99, which I love. What did I miss here? I've heard that using AI for descriptions is not good because of keywords. Something about that it is better to know what keywords is good because the AI might be optimal. I use GPT-5 for it. Not gonna lie, nice. Yeah, I would say the best outcome, Alex, is to use the speed of AI to develop your listing descriptions and item titles, and having the brains of somebody who's sold for many years that knows what the good keywords are. I think the combination of AI with a couple of like looking at that item, just that like, well, it missed a pretty good keyword here. But I'll be honest with you, the nifty AI, it keeps getting better. They keep making updates to it. The keywords are getting pretty darn good. So I don't have to edit the listings as much as I used to. So, but I think that's the best combination is AI doing its thing and being really fast and picking out some keywords that maybe I wouldn't use. And then me using some keywords that I know that have been successful for me over the years and combining those things together. And I think that's where you get the best magic. I agree it's so easy now, but back in the day, I used to think an eBay label was just a printout of the name and address. I couldn't understand why people would pay so much for them. Yeah, there you go. I learned it was prepaid postage. Yep. So that was good. We got another sale out the door. It was a slower weekend. I think I had a total of 20 or 21 units go out the door. Now we sold those shoes. So, it's another one on top of that, 22, I guess. So a slower weekend, but that's what happens this time of year. It's a transition time of year. People are starting to buy the fall stuff, but most people aren't all in on it yet. Especially the southern part of the country, like definitely isn't in on buying, fall and wintertime stuff just yet. A lot of people are still in vacation in some parts of the country. Some parts of the country, you don't go back to school till late August. So people are on their last trip or their last vacation or whatever. So they're distracted from, and they're spending money on trips and not necessarily spending money on stuff. You're competing for the same dollar, right? And then you also have a lot of people going back to school right now. So people are out of their normal routines. They're just a little distracted by things. Humans are humans, right? So even though, the parents are, the adults are making the purchases by and large, right? The kids are the ones going back to school. The parents are also adjusting to getting out of their summertime routine back into their fall work routine, which is probably different. They probably took some time off or whatever. They're probably paying off some vacation credit card bills and stuff like that. Every year I see these like little like dips, around this time of year. I'll get some like good sales weeks in August. I'll get some bad sales weeks in August. I'll get some good sales weeks in September. I'll get some not so good sales weeks in September. But then by the time we get to October 1st, everyone in the country is across the board, back into their out of their summertime routine and into their fall kind of more normal routine. People are already starting to think about like Christmas shopping and stuff, if you can believe it. It's getting colder. The leaves are falling off the trees. People are buying more jeans. They're buying more flannels and all that stuff. So it's a transition that happens slowly now to October 1, but then like October 1, it's like full steam ahead. And really September 15th tends to be a little bit better. And, we kind of like, it's kind of like a boat throttle. You sort of like push the throttle forward little by little as we move from here into October 1st. And then by October 1st, you look back and you're like, man, we're at full speed. Like, this is awesome. So we're not there yet, but hopefully we start seeing the boat throttle move forward. Let's do this. I got an eBay return that came back. I think a lot of people fear returns. I offer free returns on all my listings. Ends up being about 3% of my sales come back from eBay. Poshmark, it's almost no percent. Mercari, it's almost no percent. But eBay, even with free returns turned on, it's about 3%. It's a little bit higher for me these days than what it used to be. I used to be more like 2.5%, but I sell more new with tags items. And I feel like I get a higher return rate on new with tags items. I feel like used items, people are typically buying stuff to replace items that they've already had from that brand or that model. Whereas new stuff, people are taking more shots on something new that maybe they've never bought something from that brand before, just a higher percentage of it anyway. So here we are. This is a Lululemon shirt. This is a men's size small. And this person returned it. They said it didn't fit. So I'm going to throw this up on the wall and see if it's coming back with any flaws that it didn't go out with. And just do a quick once over with these photo lights have a way of revealing the history of things, so to speak. So throw this up on the wall. It looks like, it was well packaged on its way back. They put it in a box, which is cool. And it wasn't like rolled into a ball, which I always appreciate. And we'll just see what happened with this. They returned it pretty quick. So I'm guessing they didn't like wear it and stuff because they only had it for a couple of days before the return request came in. Nope, looks good to me. So it just went. It's just a typical return, nothing fancy. The buyer tried it on, didn't fit, even though there's like measurements and stuff in the description or in the photos. But whatever, it happens. It's part of the biz, and we'll just quickly relist this item. It'll sell again. It's a Lululemon. We're not going to have a problem selling it again. So I'm going to go ahead and just fold this right back up, put it in its plastic, and it's going to go right into probably the bin that it came out of, and we'll relist it. And we'll do that relisting. I'll do it right from I'll do it right from eBay actually, because I'll have to file the eBay return. I use a folding board just to make things pretty uniform. So everything when they go in the bins, they're all kind of they're all exactly like the same size, because this folding board ensures that. Move this a little this way. So right back into a plastic bag. And now I would share this with you, but it's going to have buyers like information and all that, like address and stuff. So I'm not going to do a shared screen for this part, but this will show you just how quickly this eBay return will go to. So all I do is I go to orders, I go to returns. So I right now have 4 active returns, which is a lot. And this one just came back, the Lululemon. So I'm going to go see details. I'm going to hit refund buyer. So they paid $21.60 for this plus shipping. I don't refund the initial shipping, but I paid for the shipping to come back to me. So I'm going to be refunding them just the purchase price of $21.60, but I'm getting the fees back on this. So eBay is refunding my $3.66 in fees, the final value fees. So I'm only refunding $17.94 because I get that $3.66 back from eBay from those fees. So I'm going to click refund now. It's going to send. It's going to process that return. It's going to take a couple of seconds, and then I'm just going to quickly relist this item. Cool. So now I'm going to go to more actions. I'm going to do sell similar. And again, now I can show you, I can do the shared screen after I hit this button. So the refund is done. That'll automatically happen. And now we're going to share this. So I hit the sell similar button. It brings up this screen. Boop. And all the same photos are in there, the description, all that stuff. The custom SKU says J6. I'm just going to change this to AA4. That way I don't have to go out to the garage. I'll put it into one of these boxes in here that's marked AA4. Everything else I'm going to keep the same. And it's going to go back up as listed at $23.99. It was a nifty best offer that sold that the first time around. So all I'm going to do is hit list it now. I'm going to put this in AA4 over here. Saves me walking to the garage. And now I'm going to end this shared screen. And I'm going to start a new shared screen on the nifty inventory right here. So these are the items that I listed this morning. You can see these area right there on the top. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit resync, continue. So what it's going to do right now is it's going through all of my platforms, eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari, and it's seeing if anything's changed. It's seeing if anything new has been listed or added on any of those platforms. Hey, what's up, my brother? Good to see you. Haven't seen you in a little bit. Hope you're doing well. Do you do free return shipping on everything because you are in the top tier program only? I do that. It gives me a 10% off my final value fees on eBay because I do 1 day handling time or less, and I have free return shipping. So I get 10% off my eBay final value fees for doing those 2 things. Back, driving to the thrift. Drive safe. Don't be talking to us. Just set up my campaign on eBay's. Fingers crossed. I like it. Good work. Good work. All right, so my sync is complete. It found one item. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the inventory, and that's that Lululemon that I just did the sell similar on, the returned Lululemon here. So I'm just going to quickly cross-list this back to Poshmark. I'm going to delete my little returns policy blurb on, oops. This is my eBay only return policy blurb. It's different on Poshmark and all that. It picked it up as lemon. We're going to type in Lululemon as the brand. There it is. Size is small. Cool. That's listed on Poshmark, and we'll just do the same thing on Mercari, and then we'll have everything. We'll have this shirt backlisted on all the platforms. Easy peasy. Delete the return policy. It's got the brand correct as Lululemon. Size small. Great. Good. And back done. So returns, are they a pain? Sure. You know, would I rather not have to relist that item, and would I rather it just be sold and that money be in my bank account? Absolutely. But as you can see, it wasn't really that big of a investment of time. I just checked the item out, folded it up, put it back in a bag, put it back in a bin, hit the sell similar button, you know, resync it with Nifty, boom, Poshmark, Mercari. It's back up on all three platforms. And because it sold once for $23.99, well, it sold on a Nifty best offer $21.60. It'll sell again for either $21.60 or probably $23.99 or whatever. So returns just part of the game. It doesn't even take up all that much time. Is it annoying? Yeah, 100%. But yeah, we work in the retail business. You're going to sell stuff. You got to get returns. It's part of the game. eBay, I sell 3 times as much as I sell on Poshmark. I sell like 10 times as much as I sell on Mercari. So even though those platforms don't have returns, I like having a lot more sales on eBay. And again, if 3% of this stuff boomerangs back to me, whatever, it'll sell again. It's fine. That's all I got for y'all. Oh, I got to check one more thing. I got to see if I got any orders come in during this live. I almost said bye, but I will in a second here. I appreciate everybody being here and hanging out. Shipping's a lot more fun when I get to do it with y'all. Otherwise, it would just be me oddly talking to myself. And oh, cool! You got an order from Beryl. Thank you, Beryl. Are you still in the chat? This came in about an hour ago, so Beryl might not still be here. We got a Thrifting is My Cardio shopping bag. That's really cool. Thank you, Beryl. I hope you're still here. If not, either way, you're going to get a shipping confirmation here in just a couple seconds. So this is one of our 13-gallon, big old oversized shopping bags. Great for thrifting. Great for bringing your stuff to the post office. Here it is. If you're in the live the whole time, you already saw me show off one of these earlier. But thank you, Beryl. That's awesome. Big old bag here. Lightweight. It's cotton, and it's got that Thrifting is My Cardio, which will get you some smiles. It'll get you some laughs for sure. Your fellow thrifters will enjoy that one. So we'll get that out. Thank you for the support. Of course, it's got the big Chris at Peak logo on there. Shop with pride with this bad Larry. Let's get this packed up for you, Beryl. Sorry, I didn't see this order roll in earlier when you were here, but if you're still here or if you're watching the replay, thanks so much. We'll get this shipped right out to you. Where's Beryl? New London, Connecticut. I know that neck of the woods. So we'll get this right here shipped out. So these are available at chrisatpeak.com. I'll drop the website in case you want to check it out. This is the same website as that we sell our coffee on too, so you can check out our coffee. If you have questions about coffee, let me know. There's also a lot of answers to those questions right there on the website. All our different coffees. Thank you, Beryl. That's cool. I appreciate your biz. As always, big handwritten thank you note for anybody who supports our business and pays our rent. So thank you, Beryl. Little handwritten thank you card there for you. I'm going to throw in a complimentary Chris at Peak sticker too. Let's do it. Stickers are fun. Stickers are fun. We'll throw that in for you too, Beryl. There it is. Beryl, you're going to get a shipping confirmation here in just 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. Okay, see the T. Ground Advantage. By label. Cool. So Beryl, you got a shipping confirmation with a tracking number in your inbox. Thanks for supporting our tiny little business over here. It means a lot to Kim and I. It's fun to ship this stuff out to your friends. We ship a lot of stuff to strangers on eBay and Poshmark, which is fun too. But there's something a little bit extra fun about shipping this out to somebody that you know, somebody that's part of the conversation, a fellow flipper, a fellow thrifter. So thank you. It never gets old shipping this stuff out to you. And I never take it for granted that I have this audience of awesome people and this community of folks that does the same thing as we do and cares about us and cares about our success. I think it's pretty rad. It means a lot. Go and order now, Carolyn. That's awesome. I went and ate lunch thinking you were almost done. That's awesome. I could use lunch right now too. I'm hungry. Looks like Carolyn's going to put in an order, so we'll hang out for a second for that. And I'm going to check one other thing. I didn't check eBay to see if I have any offers that rolled in. Let's just check that real quick. Let's see. No offers, no orders. Cool. I'm going to check the same thing on Poshmark really quickly. I also got to log this sale in my spreadsheet. I can share that with you too, so let's do this. So this is how I keep track of all my sales. Some people use Nifty to do it. I think Nifty does a great job with it, but I also have revenue that comes from other streams that Nifty doesn't track. So I make money from things like Amazon affiliate links. I make money from things like YouTube. I make money from chris@peak.com. I make money from Amazon, which Nifty doesn't do anything with. So I need to have another place where I can keep track of all my revenues and all that stuff. So I sold these boots right here. So I'm going to cut that and I'm going to bring it over to my sales screen. I'm going to paste it over here in the sales screen. I'm going to add in today's date, which is 8/18/25. That's those boots that we just shipped out. They sold on Poshmark. They sold in August. He sold for $89, $0 shipping. And we are good to go. I'm going to cut this, put it back where it was. Okay, just a little note to myself. So that concludes that. So this is Jason Hayes's reseller spreadsheet, by the way. I have it linked in my profile. This is the 3rd year that I've been doing it. Once I ship out all my items, I highlight them all and I mark them as blue too. So I know that these items are all shipped too. And I shipped those Patagonias as well. So boom. So we're all there. Some things that the spreadsheet does, I'm just showing you because why not? I'll show you a little bit look behind the scenes. I can look at my sales per day. And you can see that over the weekend, I had 10 sales on Saturday. That dipped to 7 sales on Sunday. And you can see my daily sales right there. This is just reselling. This does not this sales screen does not include anything but reselling. It doesn't include content. It doesn't include coffee. It doesn't include anything but eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, and Amazon. So we can see today I'm already at 2 sales. Wait a minute. It didn't pick up. I put 27. Wait, what happened? What did I do? Did I do something wrong? Oh, I see what I did. I almost broke my spreadsheet. All right, now if we go back to today, yep, we'll see 3 sales now for 142. I accidentally deleted the sale after I added it. So already at 3 sales for the day, $142. Yesterday was 7. The day before that was 10. You can see the roller coaster here. Really slow week, 8, 6, 5, 8. That's slow for me. Every day should be 10 plus. You can see I had like a good week here. Still, like, look at that. Slow days, 3, and then busy days with 11 or 13. So this is just that time of year. But if we go back to April, I mean, we can see these streaks like 10, 19, 8, 15, 14, 11, 10. I need more of that in my life. I need more May in my life. I need April. Look at this. 11, 10, 10, 21, 10, 10, 10 18, 12, 13, 12. Yeah, you get it. I need those. Look at these $1,000 sales. I need that back in my life. But the summertime, you just don't really see that as much. So that's a little behind the scenes look. If you want to check out the spreadsheet, you can go to chrisatpeak.com. There's a link. There's also a 10% off coupon code right there at that link if you want to check out Jason Hayes' spreadsheet. But I can compare platform sales. I can look at creator stuff in there too. I can keep track of all my expenses, which is that expense tab right there. And of course, I can keep track of all my inventory, all the stuff that's listed right here and what bin it's all in. So it keeps me all organized. Have my numbers ready to report those for taxes and all that kind of stuff. So, but this is the boring behind the scenes stuff. But this is, running a business. You got to have all that stuff too. Do you see the order for a medium shirt? Let me take a look. Thank you, Carolyn. Let me take a look. Ship. I'm looking. Just kind of refreshing. Slowly refreshing. Thank you, Carolyn. Slowly refreshing. I don't know what's going on over here. This might be a case of the mountain internet going on. The suspense is killing me. Kim, if you get a chance, can you pull out that router? Thank you. Okay, I see it, Carolyn. Thank you. We got a size medium. It sounds like you might have been looking for a size large. I think I'm out of large. I'll just double check for you though. It is it's a unisex men's medium. It is kind of got to fit on the slim side. They are kind of like a little bit of an athletic fit, so it's kind of like a little bit slim fit, but it's unisex. So this medium will fit like a men's medium, but also fit more like a women's large slim, if that makes sense. So thank you, Carolyn. Yeah, sorry, my internet was just really slow for a second there. But I'll get just confirm you're cool with that. And I put the measurements, by the way, in that listing there too, so you could see if it was gonna fit or not. So hopefully you got a chance to check that out. But you can stop me or double check the measurements if you want to get this shipped out to you. I think medium will work. I lost weight. That's awesome. I could stand to lose some too. I'm excited that you're getting this shirt. It's a cool shirt. These shirts, Kim actually just got a shirt on the same tag. It's a next level tag. I already bagged this one, but Kim bought a shirt yesterday from like one of our favorite places to stop after a hike. And she got a Pisgah Forest shirt, and it had the next level tag, and she was psyched about that because we both really like that next level tag. It's a super like high quality shirt, just like super soft, and as you wash them, they don't get like all some shirts just they get really pilly really quickly, and they kind of just get like thin and nasty and uncomfortable. These shirts like stay nice and soft, so we spent the extra money to get like a really high quality tag on these, and that's one of our favorite tags, is that next level tag. So we could have got the dumpy shirts for you and tried to maximize our profit by getting lower costs, but these are nice. This is a good shirt. I think you're going to really like it. Get you your handwritten thank you note, Carolyn. Appreciate you supporting our small little business here. It's just fun shipping stuff to your friends. And there's different ways to support us. You can support us by hitting like on this stream, or liking videos, watching them all the way through, leaving comments of appreciation or asking questions, all that stuff, feeding those algorithms on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok. That stuff that helps us make money too. It helps us spread our audience and reach new people, which is important to us too. It helps us add more people to the community. So those are ways you can support us too. It's not just money that supports us. It's just being part of the community and contributing to it. That stuff helps. It makes it a lot more fun for us. So fun is underrated. So Carolyn, you're about to get a shipping confirmation in your inbox. The cardio thrifting, that's right. this weekend, Kim and I finally got some really good cardio. We got about a little over 8 miles, almost 9 miles of hiking in hot, sunny, humid weather. So we got a good sweat in, if you care, over the weekend. 2 good sweats in. 2 different hikes. So Carolyn, you got a shipping confirmation in your inbox with the tracking number, and this shirt is on its way. I appreciate your support. It's awesome. Discovery Channel. Just watched documentary Discovery on Asheville. Documentary Discovery on Asheville. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that was a thing. I'll have to watch it. I really don't feel like watching it right now. I think we've like lived that for so long. I'm sort of if we don't have to like talk about it and think about that every 2 seconds, it's great. But at some point, I will probably enjoy sitting down and watching that. Where do you find your shirts? Oh, Kathy, I'll drop you the direct link right to our website right now. Oops. Thanks for asking, Kathy. If you have any questions, let me know. Oh, is that the right one? No, that's not the right one. Sorry. Bear with me. I'm new to this. That's the link right there, the one that says Chris at Peak.Big Cartel. That's a direct link to our coffee and our merch website. Sorry, I dropped 2 links there just to confuse you, just to throw you a curveball, Kathy. Just to throw you a curveball, Kathy. All right. I think that wraps us up. Did we get something else? All right, that's going to wrap us up for today. I enjoyed hanging out with y'all today. Hope you had fun too. Maybe you learned something. Maybe you cracked half a smile. Appreciate it. If you haven't hit that like button, that helps us out. If you haven't followed or subscribed, we're on all the platforms at chrisatpeak.com. You can find all our platforms that way, or you can just go to we're Chris at Peak on all the platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate having you. Remember, if you're just walking in now, this is available as a replay on Facebook and YouTube. As soon as I end this live, it'll restart and you can watch the thing at your leisure. You can fast forward, you can rewind, you can do all that stuff. So, and if you are watching that replay and you have questions, feel free to drop those questions, drop those comments. I will get back to all of those too. I enjoy communicating through that. And I appreciate everybody hanging out. I really do. Hope you have a great week. Hope you find some cool stuff. Hope you have some great sales. And I can't wait to hear about all those finds and all those sales next time. See you next week, Monday, 11 a.m. ish Eastern time. And we'll go over next weekend sales. And I'm hoping for a better week and a